Any good acting has behavior with it.
Nate, why? Why such bitterness? What have I done to you? Get out! You're no nephew of mine. As far as I'm concerned, you're as dead as that wretch Cermak.
You have to embellish the words with a certain amount of gravity. Because we're talking about things that are really important here that are kind of secret. There's a natural kind of darkness when you talk about noir. You know, it's great. I love it.
Laser Bob coming to you from 1987. That's right. I'm your pharaoh of physical media, Robert Meyer Burnett, and this is Let's Get Physical Media, which I can never sing. I can't get that high. I am not your Olivia Newton-John, although I do have a Xanadu poster for sale. Coming up, we'll talk about that later. But you know what? We missed a week. A week. I know you guys are having withdrawals, but it's now May. You know, May Day came and went. Did the Soviets parade their missiles through the streets of their capital, Moscow? I don't know. Maybe Moscow's not the capital anymore. Who knows? Was it ever the capital? Don't know. Have no idea. But you know what? It's May. That means it's my birthday on May 15th. That means I'm 1 year older. I'm going to lose hair. Soon I'm going to look like your favorite German all the way from Saarbrücken, Deutschland. You know him. You love him. He's Dieter Bastian.
Exactly, Rob. We are in the birthday month here in May because, you know, I have the day before you. So we have always the double birthday show, Burbs, coming up in 2 weeks. And we are not wearing Prada. We were just wearing our geeky shirts. And I say, greetings, imagination connoisseurs. Dieter here. Here I am, Rocky like Hurricane. And welcome to the B&B Motel for Let's Get Physical Media, where we had a little bit of a day off, a week off last week, because Rob had a little bit of a trip to Seattle. And was your trip fruitful, Rob, to your hometown?
My trip fruitful? So let me tell you why I went to Seattle. I've talked about this on the show. I have a friend named Craig Hyland who I've known for the better part of 40 years, more than 40 years actually. And he used to work for the National Screen Service Corporation. And that was the company that used to print from about 1940 to 2000. They printed all of the movie posters for all of the studios. Some studios, like independent movies, produce their own, but the National Screen Service Corporation produced all the movie posters and movie materials. And back then, because theaters were bigger and grander, there were all kinds of different kind of materials. Standard movie posters, which everybody is familiar with, were called one-sheets. And they were originally 27 inches by 41 inches because they have white borders around them. And starting in about the mid-'80s, when the studios started producing their own posters, they reduced that size to 26 by 40 and got rid of the white borders. But Craig used to work at the outlet. There was, I think, 5 major outlets across the United States. My friend Craig worked at National Screen, and when they were closing the office in Seattle, they were going to destroy everything. Tens of thousands of posters. So he asked if he could just take some. And he did. He took one-sheets. He took inserts. He took half-sheets. He took what they don't make anymore, lobby cards, which were 11 by 14 still packages of 8 images from the movies. And normally when you try and buy those, it's hard to find all 8. But he had like 500 sets of all 8 cards from all kinds of movies. Everything from Barry Lyndon to Star Wars to Patton to the Rocky Horror Picture Show to Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things, believe it or not. So for 40 years, I've been trying to get him to give me this collection. And he finally did. And we are going to parcel it out and auction it off and put up some things for sale. And every week over the summer, we're going to do drops of new stuff. And then we'll auction off a few high-ticket, very sought-after items. And we're going to do them like on May 22nd. We're going to have a Star Wars auction where we have original Star Wars one-sheets, original Empire Strikes Back one-sheets. We have an advance Empire Strikes Back one-sheets, which are difficult to get, and because the Mando and Grogu are opening And so check out our eBay store. You'll hear more about that later. I teamed up with one of the best sellers on eBay to do this. So it should be just fun. Not everything's going to be very expensive. There's a lot of things I've never even heard of. So that's what I had a whole truckload full of posters. But the first thing that we're doing, the first auction that we're having is, I kid you not, Barbra Streisand movies from the 60s and the 70s. And we have Barbra Streisand lobby card sets, inserts, half sheets, 1 sheets, 3 sheets, which are 41 inches. There is a absolutely beautiful What's Up Doc 3 sheet that's 41 inches by 81 inches. Now, these are posters that should be mounted on linen, which is something you guys are going to have to do on your own. There's even 6 sheets, Barbra Streisand 6 sheets, which are 81 inches by 81 inches. And
Holy moly.
And we have upcoming auctions such as a James Bond auction. And there are 6 sheets for Live and Let Die, which is an amazing poster, and Diamonds Are Forever. So check it out. There's going to be some great stuff. And basically, I'm going to be using the proceeds to keep the Rob Observatory, keep the house, pay off some debt, and do all kinds of crazy stuff. So it's going to be fun. And there's lots of funny, wacky stuff. I found a mint condition Texas Chainsaw Massacre 1 sheet, which is, it's uncirculated. So it's going to be fun. If nothing else, it'll be fun. And there's going to be a lot of wacky things that you've never heard of before. So I'm very excited to see how it all goes down. So look for that starting next Friday. If you're a Barbra Streisand fan and you've ever wanted a What's Up Doc poster, that 3 sheet is tasty. Anyway, so there we are.
And before we started the show, Rob informed me he has not done a double feature. He has done a triple feature. And I couldn't compete because those movies have not started in Germany. So
it's true.
I will gladly hear what Rob will be talking about. And it's not The Devil Wears Prada 2. So, Rob, what have you seen?
Well, first of all, I saw 5 movies this week.
Ooh,
I saw a double feature on Tuesday. I went and saw Michael in IMAX, and I saw Mother Mary.
Michael, I saw 2. Michael, I saw 2.
We'll talk about that. And then on Thursday, I saw Fuse, the new Aaron Taylor Johnson movie from the director of Hell and High Water.
Oh.
And it was a terrific action film that nobody knows anything about, which is really too bad because it was wildly fun to watch, incredibly well directed, tightly scripted, really enjoyed it, didn't know where it was going.
Never heard about it.
It begins when this construction team that's working in the middle of London finds an unexploded World War II bomb at the construction site.
Which often will still happen, Rob.
It still happens. All I can tell you is don't even watch the trailer. Just go in cold. That's all you need to know.
As always.
All you need to know.
Okay. Fuse. Okay.
So and then we saw Hokum on Thursday,
awesome.
And then we saw, and I there's seldom would I use this to gloat, to hold over your head, Dieter, but I saw Rennie Harlan's new film, Deep Water, starring Ben Kingsley and Aaron Eckhart, about an airliner that goes down in the ocean. Shades of Airport 77, which is right up my alley, and then the survivors of the plane crash are hunted by sharks. So it's airport,
it's right up my alley, Rob,
deep blue sea kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And I hated it.
Okay.
I mean,
go. Straight out.
I wanted to love it. It's got like 75% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, I was surprised about that, Rob, actually.
Financed by Chinese money. And look, I get it. But the script, I thought, was just not good. I mean, but a lot of people are liking it. So I know our trash panda. Okay. I don't want to harsh your mellow. Far be it for me to shatter your hopes and your dreams, Dieter. So I didn't dig it, but I'm sure a lot of people like it as a mild diversion. I guess you could enjoy it. Hokum I thought was pretty good. I didn't love Hokum. Okay. I wanted it to go further than it did, I think, but beautifully shot, really well acted, and it was enjoyable. But
Do
Fuse
you know
was
the two previous movies from Damien McCarthy? Odyssey
yeah. I thought
and,
they were
Harriet?
better. I mean, I liked
Okay.
Tokum, but it was a little conventional, and it was a little straightforward. But I really enjoyed the Irish setting, and
Yeah.
Adam Scott was good. But the movie it was too familiar, and did not have enough novelty in it. I think.
Okay. Okay.
And then Mother Mary.
So you had a good one, a mid one, and a bad one.
Yeah. And then I'm going to go backwards. Mother Mary was one of the most A24 of all A24 movies that I've ever seen.
Ooh.
And
Okay.
it's basically a two-hander. I mean, it's Anne Hathaway. I mean, Anne Hathaway has two movies in theaters right now. It's, Mother Mary and, of course, Devil Wears Prada.
Devil Wears Prada.
But I have to say, in the co-star of Mother Mary is Michaela Cole, or I think it's Cole. It's Cole. I think it's Cole. Michaela Cole. She also starred in The Christophers, which I saw last month. She is just an extraordinary talent, I think. And I mean, she's beautiful. She's got this great dark skin. She has a face that you cannot look away from. And she was absolutely extraordinary in Mother Mary. I mean, it was interesting because in The Christophers, she's playing against Ian McKellen, and it's kind of just like the two of them talking the whole movie, pretty much. But she's the one that's listening. But in Mother Mary, she's the one talking. And she just delivers a painfully tour perforce performance of a woman who is truly, in the film, Anne Hathaway and Mother Mary, and then Sam, who Michaela Cole plays, they had a relationship, and they had a terrible breakup. And listen, if there's one thing I know, nobody breaks up more or better or harder than two women. And their breakup caused perhaps the manifestation of a supernatural element. I don't want to ruin anything, but man, I'm just glad I'm not a lesbian. Because boy, oh boy,
So she is totally,
men are
totally
like
on your radar.
men are like peace out, But these chicks, man, they it was hardcore. But I really liked Mother Mary a great deal.
Nice.
I didn't think it entirely worked, but it was directed by David Lowery, who directed The Green Knight.
Correct.
And visually, it's incredibly striking, and I just really enjoyed. A lot of people I know, it's not their cup of tea, but I really liked it. I was totally captivated by Michaela Cole's performance and her face. I could watch her, read the phone book, and I really just loved the film. And then you had Hunter Schafer playing Michaela Cole's assistant, and FKA Twigs and Charlie XCX. They're actually in the movie, but they contribute music. Boy, I certainly loved it, and I thought it was great.
Had a pretty broad spectrum of the movies that you actually watched.
Yeah, and then, but I would say it was, if there was such a thing as a die-hard A24 movie, Mother Mary is that. Not meaning like it's an action movie, but if it encompassed, I mean, it's A24 through and through.
Okay.
And then we saw Michael. Now,
Correct.
I'm going to ask you first.
One of the big two blockbusters. I always say, Rob, you have the right calibration for a movie, or the best is to go in blind. But it goes both ways. Considering Michael, because of the reviews, I was exactly in the mindset what I would be getting from the movie. It will only go to the release of bad, all the good stuff, a little bit montagey. But I had a good time with it, Rob. I know a lot of production problems with the movie, and I think considering that into the review, what I came up with is pretty decent, because it still had a through line of Michael getting rid of the ties to his father. So it has at least a little bit of a story through line through it, even if it was just, of course, the highlights. But I had a really good time with it. And I think, considering all the nice stuff that is happening in the world, Rob, just to be entertained in a good way, we all know the stuff that is coming later in his career. But to have just the big highlights of his career, for me, really nice one. And of course, the Steelbook is pre-ordered. So I really had a good time with it. But I was exactly knowing what I was getting into, Rob. So I was not on the side, or I didn't get the bad stuff from his later career. So I was totally fine with it, liked it, and it is pre-ordered for me. Rob.
Yeah,
Your
I mean,
take on my
I have to say, I was knocked out by.
the only drawback, Rob, one criticism. I missed one scene when you met him at the comic store. I will hope that is a deleted scene on the Blu-ray.
Yeah, no, I unfortunately I don't think that's included in. I don't think that's going to be included.
Your take on Michael.
But I have to say, I loved it. First of all, I don't think I stopped moving the whole movie, and while I can understand the criticisms and the elephant in the room and not dealing with the allegations and all of that, but I found it to be an origin story that was deeply sad about how he really had no friends. There's a scene in the film when he talks about kids my age, all they want to do is get an autograph. They don't want to get to know me. And I think the film really, really, in a way, it showed him interacting with his animals that he called his only friends, and his frustration at wanting to be his own man and his own artist, his own, creator. And I felt that the film really worked from that perspective. And I feel that's what the movie was trying to do. I mean, they couldn't address those allegations directly. And I heard that the movie originally began dealing with those allegations. And
correct.
I think what they came up with, I mean, we went with Alvaro's dad, who's in his 70s. And the three of us if we were so inclined, we would have gotten up and danced in the aisles, I think. So, on one hand, it was an examination of one of our great musical talents, certainly one of the great performers of the 20th century and 21st century, and what led to a very isolated and sad personal life. And yet, he gave it his all. And I thought it was, when they deal with the Pepsi accident, when his hair caught on fire, which inevitably led to his death via painkillers, and it was horrifying. For that to happen to him, who put so much into his performing. I mean, everything about his life was performance, and I think that he was also more of a ruthless businessman than they showed in the film. But I enjoyed it. I had a great time. I walked out of there with a big smile on my face. So.
Yeah. And sometimes that's all you need. And I hear, Rob, it's making good money, especially international. Shows you how big of a star he was in the whole world.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. And if you want me to jump into that, I can.
Yeah. So the money international, I would think, Rob, goes to Universal, and the US money goes to Lionsgate. I think they are.
Yeah, they've co-released the film, co-distributors. Let's see what they say. So here we go. Anthony D'Alessandro reports. This is very interesting. 20th Century Studios, I just want to point out that the great Steve Asbell, the president of 20th Century Studios, who I like to call the quiet king of franchises, the man who brought back Planet of the Apes under Disney, brought back Predator, brought back Hellraiser,
Alien.
Brought back Alien, now has brought back The Devil Wears Prada. And it was an event women around the world were awaiting. It had a 156.6 million foreign.
Ooh. Shows you,
and it's now the second best global debut of year to date. It's made 233.6 million worldwide. That's a huge number. You know, we on the John Campea show have been saying this for a long time, that don't sleep on this movie. And you know, they a ton of money. I mean, this movie is doing huge numbers all around the world. It's big everywhere. So, I mean, what's not to love with this? So let's look at that, and let's look at it. Did 77 million in the U.S. So here are the numbers for this week's films. These are domestic numbers now. Devil Wears Prada has made 77 million. I bet that number is going to go up. Michael added another 54 million for its total in week 2. Domestic is 183.8 million. Super Mario Galaxy put up another 12 million, so it's at 402.6 million. Project Hail Mary domestically has made 318.3 million. Hokum did 6.4 million. Andy Serkis's Animal Farm did 3.4 million. That comes out from Angel Studios. Lee Cronin's The Mummy has now done. It really tanked. It did not have a great hold. It was down 61% into week 2 here. It's
but
made
that's
27.
good international numbers.
Really good internet.
It's like
over 100. It's over $100 million.
Conjuring franchise.
Yep, absolutely. 27.4 million domestic total. Rennie Harlin's movie didn't do that well. But it did put up 2.1 million. And number 9 is That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime, the movie Tears of the Azure Sea. That made $1 million bucks. And the drama is up domestically to 46.9 million.
Right.
So not bad. Not bad. So, doing well, but 233 million for Devil Wears Prada 2 is a gigantic. The movie only cost $100 million bucks because that's what Steve Asbell does. He makes sequels for $100 million in and around there. And it's interesting. Do you know, not surprisingly, in all of the foreign countries, which country? Here's a question for you, Dieter. Which country did Devil Wears Prada 2 make the most money in?
Internationally.
Yeah.
Internationally.
Which country?
Italy.
You are correct. Italy. Leave it to the Italians to turn out for a movie about high
and I think
couture.
they shot some scenes in Italy.
Lake Como and everything. Yeah. And I was told, I haven't seen it, I was told that it was scored like a Bond movie. Like when they're in Lake Como, it feels like John Barry is scoring a Bond movie, which of course, I love that. Bring it on. So that's really, really cool.
Nice.
That's exciting.
Do you have the complete global box office for Michael? If you have those.
Let's see what they say. I don't know. They don't have the list of all of the international numbers yet. Let me just. They were just talking about Devil Wears Prada here. Let me go down this article and see. Okay. Yeah. Oh, here we go.
Okay.
So, it wouldn't be a summer weekend without Lionsgate's Michael, which is coming in ever higher at 54 million, 44% down. But the second weekend is good, really good hold. It'll hold it at 29% off Saturdays. I guess Sunday it's making 20. I don't know what this is.
Yeah. I think the international drop was only 20% drop.
Yeah, it was 29%. Which is amazing. So the accumulation is 183.8 million in foreign numbers. 83% ahead of Bohemian Rhapsody at the same point in time, which
83%?
ended
83%?
Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
So there you go.
That's a lot. Yeah.
So there you go.
Hopefully some good leg. So I think, Rob, since we were away for 1 week, we should start with show some stuff.
Why don't you start?
Who starts? Okay.
Go ahead.
First up, just a little bit. I already own Shelby Oaks, but they made a little mistake, which is not affecting me because the Blu-ray that they sent were not region free, and they had, of course,
Oh.
international backers, so they sent them again, Rob. But it's a Blu-ray and DVD. So
That's
even if it
interesting.
says A here, they should be region free now. For me, okay, as a multi-region free player, it's not a point for me, but they did send them out again to the international customers. Then one thing quick, Rob, I already showed the Suspiria set from Cult Films, and your friend Elliot was complaining about the flimsy packaging, and he's totally right on that front, Rob. Because perhaps you remembered I said I will order it again because Amazon sent it here damaged, here damaged, and I ordered it from Cult Films themselves, Rob. It came in the same condition, damaged.
That
So
sucks.
I have to, I did send one back to Amazon to get money back, but one of the main problems is actually that flimsy outer shell, that flimsy outer case. You need to make sturdier boxes. Because I was thinking, okay, if I order it from Cult Films themselves, it will probably come here tip-top shape. No, it had the same problems, those flimsy cases always have.
That might have happened. That might have been from their stock, when they received the discs in the first place.
Yeah, could be so. But if you make at least the outer case a little bit more sturdy, a little bit more heavier, then they can take a little bit more during the shipping. Then, Rob, normally, I open all the stuff, get rid of the cellophane, but I saw a review of a 4K media book of a German of The Crush with Alicia Silverstone. And he showed the quality of the 4K, and it was atrocious, Rob. Considering the colors, it looked horrifying. And I ordered Diabolic from them, Sharon Stone. This is a 4K media book, but this is from the same company. And from that company, I already showed Renegades, the movie from Jack Shoulder. And I thought, okay, I give this one a look. And just like with The Crush, the same thing, Rob. The 4K is terrible, considering the color representation. The Blu-ray is actually really, really good, what I saw from skipping through it.
Is this something wrong in the pressing or in the encoding of the discs?
I have no idea, Rob. It looks like to me, Rob, considering the 4Ks, Hanse Sound is the company, has an AI program which boosts the colors, boosts the contrast, and they do it for every 4K that they are releasing as a media book. So for me, I watched this, and I am expecting this, considering the 4K, to look exactly the same or has the same problem. So probably I will send this one back, considering what I've seen here and the review I've seen on YouTube about The Crush. So the Blu-ray is really, really fine, what I've seen. But the 4K, so not pretty happy about a German company putting subpar editions out of those movies in 4K. But what can you do, Rob? Then, on another front, the great thing about doing the show with you is the contacts that I've made over the years. And one of my contacts in the UK, Stephen, was at a convention, and he told me Yukari Oshima would be there, and if I wanted to sign her something, he would buy something for me that she could sign. And you know her too, Rob, because she is actually in the story of Ricky, where she actually played a man. I don't know the exactly wing that she had to be protected, but she was in that movie too. And he got me a little bit of a poster magazine from her that he let her sign. And this is really nicely done. So you have the filmography, and more you put out open here. There were a lot of pictures of her. There's one with Samo here, down at the bottom. So this is really nice. You have a big poster of her here on the back, and here a lot of infos about her filmography. So really nice one, Stephen. Really love this one that he bought for me and that sent it to me, Rob. So a poster magazine of Yukari Oshima, which probably most of you will know from Story of Ricky, but she has done a lot of Girls with Guns stuff too. Okay, the stuff that I've gotten over the last 2 weeks. Sometimes, Rob, when a title gets into the Schnäppchen section, I can't help myself, even if I don't think the movies are that really good. But I couldn't help myself. This was a Schnäppchen, Rob. I bought the Jurassic World movies in 4K and Blu-ray, the Steelbook edition. It was just $30, Rob. How could I say no? So you have the 4Ks. It's all on top of each other. I know people perhaps don't like that, but you have the Blu-rays and the 4Ks. And I love the design of the
it's cool.
The Steelbook. You have
That's
a little
cool.
bit embossed here. So these are the Jurassic World movies. But just saying, Rob, I ordered it. Was price reduced already. And what I hate, Rob, is then when 2 days later, the price is dropping even further. So I ordered it again, and the expensive one I sent back, Rob, because I don't go through the hassle to send an email and the back and forth. Can you reduce the price? No. I ordered it again and sent the more expensive one back. It's totally fine for me. I already know if I order a title, when it gets released, at some point the price drop. But if I buy a Schnäppchen, Rob, and 2 days later the Schnäppchen will become even more of a Schnäppchen, then I will. And it was, I think, $10 cheaper than when I've bought it already as a Schnäppchen.
Wow.
Okay. Then we have a blind buy, of course. We have always blind buys from Unearthed Classics from America. The movie is called The Ugly. Don't know anything about it, but we have a nice different cover artwork below it. But this is just a Blu-ray, but it comes with a booklet too.
Huh.
Looks cool, but never heard anything about this one. The Ugly. Yeah. So from Unearthed Classics. Just put that back. Then one of my favorite movies of the year, gotten finally released. I've got, of course, the steelbooks for 28 Years Later.
Oh,
the Bone
dude.
Temple, just featured here on the back from up above with the perfect needle drop. And unlike the US versions of the steelbook, the international versions in the UK and Germany always have the 4K and the Blu-ray in it. They still come with both. So, the Bone Temple steelbook. Then, Rob, you and I, we love our body horror. This, I have to give a shout out to Shudder, because we are always talking about streaming service putting their stuff out on physical media, and Shudder is always great putting, not all, but some specific movies they are putting out on physical media. And I think this movie is only available at the moment before the US came out, well, I believe in Australia from Umbrella. So the movie is called Crafted, has a little bit of a substance vibe to it, and the practical effects are really great, Rob. It gets a little bit, considering the plausibility, a little bit off the rails. It gets a little bit bonkers, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. It is on Shudder. So actually the disc is still in, checking some bonus materials out there. But really enjoyed it. Crafted from Shudder. Then the next one didn't get a 4K release until now, until this day, perhaps later. Quite enjoyed it, but I was hoping for a little bit more. I've bought from Paramount Primate. Like I said, unfortunately, only a Blu-ray, not a 4K. But if the Blu-ray sells, I'm sure there will be something coming up later. Next one, just a Blu-ray too, but I had a really good time with this one. For me, even better than the Smashing Machines. I bought Sidney Sweeney's Christie, because this was really a nice story, because Smashing Machine had all the bits that you can write yourself, but this was a little bit of a different story. Really love it. Christie, just on Blu-ray in America. from the US too, with Shuki. This is actually a new movie, but it's totally blind by for me. The movie is called Resurrection. So, and inside we actually have, not big, but at least.
Who directed that film? Who?
Let me just see, Rob. Can I make that out? By filmmakers, Meet the Filmmakers, Be Gone
Okay,
is the name.
that film, Criterion is putting out that film, and I have to tell you, that to me is one of my most eagerly awaited movies to see this year. It looks absolutely stunning, and that director's work is I've never seen any of Begon's movies, but that film looks
no. I'm realizing this, Rob. It is the Criterion Channel actually, but it's not 4K.
Okay, yeah, I'm dying to get that. I didn't get that yet.
Okay.
I'm a little behind, but I cannot wait to get that film. I cannot wait to see that movie. I can't wait to hear what you think of it.
Okay, it's actually pretty extensive running time, 159 minutes. Okay.
Yeah,
it's in Mandarin with subtitles, of course.
yeah, I can't wait. Can't wait to see it.
And it seems, Rob, that it has different aspect ratios.
Yep.
When I look here, if I see that correct, but totally blind by for me. Resurrection, Shuki and Jackson Yee. Okay, not know anything about it. This one was, of course, a must-buy, even if I wasn't thrilled with the movie at all. But it's J-Law, Rob. Of course, I had to purchase Die, My Love. This is the German one, which comes with the Blu-ray and the 4K, just I believe as the American is too. But it has a little bit of some postcards.
But come on, Lynn Ramsey, man. Lynn Ramsey knocking it out of the park.
Yeah, I know,
there.
but I can totally see, Rob, why this one did not make any splash, neither at the box office nor at any award shows. But I haven't seen it for a second time, but I don't think my judgment will be changing to insanely good numbers considering Die My Love. But as a fan of J-Lo, this is of course a must buy. Then I heard good things about this, but this is Blind by 2. It's out for a longer time, but it came out here on a Blu-ray. Deus Irae, it's called. It's an Argentinian horror movie. It says uncut edition here on the back.
That's cool.
That's good to know. And it had a reversible cover art, so I could get rid of the big rating. So Deus Irae, not seen it. Then another Cat in the Bag, looks like a sci-fi movie. Let me just see. Okay, it is in English, so it's not an international movie. The movie is called Somnium. So totally blind by, not know anything about it, because I love to go in blind. The next one from one of our favorite new companies, TX, and they put out Highway to Hell.
Yeah, I didn't order that. That's Radiance's sublabel Transmission. I didn't order that, but
it's not
cool.
a 4K, Rob. It's just It's just a Blu-ray.
But I don't care. Anything Radiance puts out's dope.
Yeah. So we have a booklet for the movie, but I haven't seen it in a long time. I hope you were not, Rob, on the highway to hell when you drove back from Seattle with all the treasures.
I had a great time. I was making videos showing my progress.
Yeah, I know. I saw them on Insta, on the road. So Highway to Hell from TX. This is a little bit smaller than the usual, so no big one, but Highway to Hell. Then Rob, you already showed it, and for me, this was of course a must-have. Stone fucking cold, Rob.
Dude, have you watched that yet?
Not yet, Rob. But really looking forward to it because it's a movie.
I am the greatest acolyte of Stone Cold that exists on this planet.
Rob.
I can't wait to hear what you think of it.
Okay, because I think that the Blu-ray was already great that they released earlier. So I'm really looking forward. But Stone Cold is a movie, Rob, I can always watch.
So good.
No problem.
That's what I meant. You know, you're part of the small crowd that understands the greatness that is Stone Cold.
I showed this movie. I totally forgot to put it out because I showed this movie to you when I bought the Italian version, which didn't have any subtitles at all, but I was looking forward to the director's new movie. So sometimes I watch movies where I don't understand that much. But luckily, Welco USA put it out in the States finally with English subtitles called The Forbidden City. So this is a 4K. You get a 4K or you can buy the Blu-ray. Unfortunately, not a combination of both. So just I bought the 4K for it. So luckily, finally, I can understand the whole movie. Then from 88 Films, Rob, they put out, this is what I call a little bit more of a sturdy packaging. I've got Phase 4, and it has a really nice structure here on the O-ring, and you get the more known cover.
Okay, I have to tell you something about Phase 4. So I was coming back and I was saying to Alvaro when I was looking through the posters, I said, Alvaro, is there a movie poster you might want? You know, just off the cuff.
Yeah.
And he thinks about it, and he goes, you wouldn't happen to have a Phase 4 one sheet, would you? And I'm going through the posters, I'm going through this one box of one sheets, and sure enough, it's 52 years old. There was a pristine mint condition that has that artwork with the hand on it. But it's got a bunch of cool stuff on the front, and it talks about the end of the world, and it's a great poster. And there was also a lobby card set for Phase 4. Ooh. So I when I saw Alvaro to do our double feature of Michael and Mother Mary, I brought him the poster, and then he went and he framed it, put it in a frame, and he was blown away. He could not believe how the poster looked like it was brand new, even though it was 52 years old. Yeah. So that's the kind of quality you're going to get from our movie poster auction.
Are they alphabetically organized, the stuff that you can?
I have been doing that.
That you found it. That you even found the Phase 4 poster.
Well, I what I did first was I went and pulled all the genre stuff. I pulled all the science fiction, fantasy, and horror stuff because here's my thought process. I'm going to keep all the science fiction. Because I used to be a poster dealer, and I've owned so many movie posters in my life. And my big giant collection I sold to a previous company called the Third Floor that's worked on they worked on all the Marvel movies. They work on Star Wars. They have my true great poster collection. As a matter of fact, one day I want to call them and see if I can get 2 of them back. But because I really want them. But, so I went through there's a couple things I kept. I probably kept like 10 things. But Bond stuff, Star Wars stuff, and I found some really great, like there's some original North by Northwest Hitchcock stuff. I kept the To Catch a Thief stuff, all this things that I'm actually, if I can't, I have posters that I've collected that I've never put up. I got a Maria Kondo in my life, man. If I can't display anything, next week is my birthday, and I've always believed that human beings, assuming we have 4 quarters of our lives, like a sporting event. You have 1 through 20, 21 through 40, 41 through 60, and 61 through 80. Some people live more than that, but so I'm going into the last year of my 3rd quarter. So my whole thing is, why collect stuff if I can't enjoy it? I'll still buy things, but I'm cutting off all collecting at 60. And except one thing, the only thing that I'm going to collect after I'm 60 is books. I want to collect my personal definitive collection of my favorite books. I want to get first editions, whether they're paperbacks or hardcovers, of all of my favorite books. And that will be the thing that I will say that it has to go somewhere. You have to keep the collection together of my favorite books. because,
Okay.
collecting everything else, I can't, no more posters, no more action figures, no more, maybe model kits because I build them. But, yeah.
Okay.
So I can't keep the posters.
Okay.
I have to let them go.
This was my first haul. I give it over to you since we have that nice segue, considering with Phase 4 and poster finding of it.
Okay, well, I'll go full frame. So, I didn't get much. I got some
no.
things, but obviously, everyone knows I love the Super Deluxe Edition. SDE is a company that has been remastering old records. They remix them into Dolby Atmos. And Steve Wilson, and the thing is, if you don't order them they have a small, usually like a month. If you don't pre-order them within that month, that's it. They're gone. You have to either buy them on the secondary market, or you can hope that you can buy them. Maybe they'll repress them. And I've been lucky because early Super Deluxe albums that I really wanted was X Propaganda, which was an incredible record. You can go buy it for like $100, but the other one that I really, really wanted that I wasn't able to get because I wasn't aware of Super Deluxe Edition when they put this out, but Super Deluxe Edition Spine number 9, one of my favorite early 80s records, Tears for Fears, The Hurting. I've already put it in one of my sleeves. Steve Wilson remastered this. This album sounds incredible in Dolby Atmos, and they've got like the original stereo mix, or they'll have a later mix. They've got all the options, but the Dolby Atmos, unbelievable. I love Super Deluxe Edition so much. Frankie Goes to Hollywood was their 50th release. They just put up 2 new Brian Ferry albums, Exit and Beat Noir, or Bet Noir, for purchase. So I got this. I was so happy they repressed this because I was monumentally depressed that, not really, but, for effect. So thank God I've got this. I was very happy to get this again. So very exciting for me. And I just realized, Dieter, that I had forgotten to add you to part of I forgot to add you, so I'm adding you to where I forgot to put you, so you people can hear you off screen. Sorry about that. Anyway, then I did get a box from Kino Lorber. Thank you, Kino Lorber, of some interesting stuff. As I'm looking at this, where did I put it? I put it here. This is really interesting. Dagmar Lysander is in this movie, who's in one of my favorite late 60s movies, The Laughing Woman. So young, so lovely, so vicious. I don't even know what this movie's about, but Dagmar Lysander is in it, and I'm obsessed with her. So, blonde teenager Angela is not happy about her father's choice for his new wife, Dagmar Lysander. Well, you're wrong, Angela, if you get to marry Dagmar Lysander, but come on now. So she does everything she can do to destroy their relationship. Aided by her sleazy boyfriend, she digs deep into her new mother's past and discovers traits of mental abuse. What's not to love? And then this is a great movie, A Kiss Before Dying, which I actually own in one of the modern noir boxes. Obviously, this James Dearden directed this, and this came out in 91, so that's cool. And then there's a Charlie XCX documentary, Alone Together. So maybe this is the documentary that they were actually making during the moment. Who knows? But Charlie XCX, she seems to be everywhere. Big fan. Let's see what happens. Got to watch that. Richard Widmark and Lena Horne in Death of a Gunfighter. Really loving these new westerns that they're putting out. James Stewart in Bend of the River. And then perennial favorite on British television that Americans don't know, Robert Shaw, James Earl Jones, and Peter Boyle in the pirate movie The Swashbuckler. And then they came out with Night World with Boris Karloff and Lou Aries. So, cool thing. Now, this might be my favorite of the things that they sent me this week. A 1970s Charles Bronson movie called Rider on the Rain, directed by Rene Clement.
Nice. Yeah.
So here's the cover, right? Okay.
That's great.
And now they have 2 different covers for the disc. There's this cover. But then
Tough choice, Rob. Tough choice.
there is this cover. Bronson at his brutal best.
Yeah.
This is not a cover that would fly today, I would imagine.
Not.
Which
Certainly
means
not.
it's absolutely the cover that I'm going to use on my disc. Because why, if you have this kind of a cover, why wouldn't you use it as a reminder of a simpler time? Watch the internet try and cancel me.
Yeah.
You
They try every day,
just
Rob. They try every
try.
day.
You just try. Bronson at his brutal best. I mean, look at that. So that would be my first haul of discs. And once again, thank you to Kina Lorber for your amazing eclectic mix of discs that you send me. And thank you for Super Deluxe Edition for repressing The Hurting, which, by the way, even though it's Tears for Fears and everybody remembers Shout and all that, this is the album that their version of Mad World, the first version of Mad World, comes from. But I maintain, and come at me, bro, that this album is indeed a goth record. I've always believed that The Hurting, it's called The Hurting after all, The Hurting is a goth record. So just saying, try and change my mind.
My mind. Rob, I think we have some super chats that came in, probably.
We do. First of all, we have a tip. We have a tip that came in from Tony Reyes, a $20 tip. Thank you, Tony. I very much appreciate that. Tony, you're going to love this. Rob, I hope you're doing well. Did you get a chance to check out Speed Racer in IMAX? My theater actually cheered at the end. It was really cool seeing so many families there. I'm glad the film is finally getting the recognition it deserves. Go, Speed, go. Well, Tony, I did. As a matter of fact, Bill Hunt from the Digital Bits and I went to the world-famous Chinese theater in Hollywood, and we saw Speed Racer in IMAX. And it was fucking glorious. The new disc comes out next week.
Yeah.
And it is the new transfer. You know, the old transfer was on a BD25. It wasn't great.
Right.
This was fantastic. Absolutely astonishing. It was so great. And not only was it so great, but Speed Racer himself, Emil Hirsch, and the young version of Racer X, Scott Porter from Friday Night Lights, came to the theater to watch the movie. And they actually stayed and watched the movie in IMAX.
Oh, that's rare, Rob. That's rare.
And Emil Hirsch, he said, I can't believe that this movie that came out almost 20 years ago that, you know, was considered kind of a failure, but now as a cult movie is playing here in the Chinese theater in IMAX. He was great. You know, kudos to Emil Hirsch for showing up. And it was absolutely astonishing. The quality was amazing. And I loved it.
Awesome.
And that new disc is going to be terrific. Stubble McShave says, happy birthday, sends in a tip, happy birthday month. What is your shirt size? You can DM me on Twitter if you don't want to say on camera. Well, I've always worn XL t-shirts, but I like to wear 2XL t-shirts so my man boobs don't make them too tight. So 2XL, you know, and here, you know, I'm just going to say, look, man, I can lose 50 pounds. I have to stop drinking, but, you know, I'm looking to get in shape as I hit my new birthday. I've got a goal. I want to get down to. I weighed 195 pounds in high school.
That last quarter, Rob. The last quarter of our lives.
Yeah, I weighed 195 pounds in high school. I was really thin. I looked like a twink. I would like to go back and get to that weight. You know, that we're talking about 60 pounds, 65 pounds to do that. That's a lot of work. It's no alcohol. That's no
That'll work.
fast food. You know, you gotta go on the carnivore or the pro. I can do it though. I can do it because why not? So that was from Stubble McShave. So Stubble, there you go. Thanks for that. And in terms of regular super chats, let's take a gander. We've got a few. Martino sent 20 Burnettwork gift memberships. Martino Sulmoni. That was very nice of you, Martino. Martino, by the way, sent me some pictures. Martino was at Piz Gloria, Blofeld's hideout, on Her Majesty's Secret Service. And there is on Her Majesty's Secret Service, a beautiful condition 3-sheet. And a 3-sheet is 41 inches by 81 inches. It's gigantic. And it needs to be mounted on linen before it gets framed, but it's amazing. And that will go up probably end of May for auction. Beaver, let's see, hang on. Beaver 574 says, "Hey, Uncle Rob." I don't know if that's really my nephew. So I got the first 5 seasons of the OG X-Men show on sale for $15 on a site down from $150. I've never seen it when I was a kid. It's better than 5 full months of expensive Disney puke. You are correct. You are correct, Beaver. It is great. I love the X-Men series. As a matter of fact, Bryan Singer, that was the only X-Men he was familiar with when he directed the first X-Men movie. But I will say this. They have continued on the X-Men series on Disney Plus, X-Men 97, which I thought was great. I thought the X-Men 97, and they're doing another season, second and third season of that, so check that out. But that's a great score. Yeah. So there you go. Tom Jr. Jackson sent a Burnettwork gift membership. So by the way, we did have a great member call yesterday. A lot of fun, long call, not as long as some have been, but it was really great to see everybody back in the saddle. Great to hear that Major Chai Chai's husband came through his heart surgery, quadruple bypass in tip-top shape, and that Major Chai Chai has a new job, which is cool. I'm not going to get as much swag from aerospace companies, but you know, you got to. There's trade-offs. There's trade-offs in everything. So, what are you going to do? Martino sends in another super chat and says, "We know how to dress and how to appreciate beauty." Anne Hathaway. I still can't get over Anne Hathaway's dress from the Oscars. I mean, I think that's one of my favorite dresses I've ever seen on a woman ever, and I'm not a big fan of floral pattern, but she killed it. Jurassic Joey has been a member for 24 months. Major Chai Chai has been a member for 27 months, and the Major says, "Great member call yesterday. It was like a long overdue family reunion. It had been a month." For Dieter, there's a box on its way to you. Who knows when it will get there? Mm-hmm.
Not yet.
200 Watt Studio asks, Lou Aries from Battlestar Galactica. Yes, that's true. The Alex Zorba says, "Rob, is that MAC lipstick you're wearing?" Joy unto you, peace and serenity. Those are all free Enterprise references, which, by the way, I have some free Enterprise one-sheets that are left. They're very incredibly rare, and I'm going to put those into the auction because people always ask about those.
Sign it, Rob. Sign it. Sign them. Sign them.
Well, I will. I will. I'll sign, and I'll put my name down and sign them, and I
would suggest that you sign them, Rob.
That's good.
You know?
Hitchhiker 42 says, "Just a thought. Where are the Roger Moore James Bond box sets? Well, now that Amazon owns the Bond movies, I don't know.
Yeah.
I really hope that they put out the rest of the Bond movies in 4K, because you've got the Daniel Craigs and we've got the Roger Moores. I mean, we've got the Sean Connerys. Roger Moore, Dalton, obviously Pierce Brosnan, and then we've got our outlier on Her Majesty's Secret Service. which is one of my favorite Bond movies of all time. I hope they come out. I really do, because it's very frustrating. Richard Curtis says, talking of Emil Hirsch, have you seen An Evening with Beverly Luff Linn from the same director of The Greasy Strangler? Oh, I've seen The Greasy Strangler. I have not seen An Evening with Beverly Luff Linn. Have you?
No, not even heard of it.
Both of those films. I haven't heard of it either. So we are caught up, I believe, on Super Chats. Yeah, we're caught up.
Okay.
So do you know what time it is?
For the headliner, actually.
I mean, but I've got to add him to the show. Obviously, let's put him in, and we'll play his intro soon enough. But and he can tell us all about how he either can or can't say English words, which will be interesting to hear about. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, here we go. It is the busiest man in publishing, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Max Allen Collins. Max, welcome back to the living.
Can you hear me, guys?
We can. You sound good.
Well, it's great to see both of you. I've really missed Dieter in particular.
Thanks a lot.
I do have.
Thank you. You will get an email for that.
I have
checks in the mail.
I have some advice for you, Dieter.
Okay.
When it comes to buying Jurassic World, the way you say no is no.
I know.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right on that front.
We've got to stop buying the package when we don't like the movie. Okay.
Yeah,
it's true.
I know. You're right.
And I also want to ask Rob something. When you hit. Since I'm in the fourth or fifth quarter of my life, tell me, are you going to stop collecting 4Ks at age 60? No more movies? No more movies for Rob?
Of course I'm going to collect movies.
You know, that and heroin you're going to want to hang on to.
Yeah, I've given up all the vices. I'll have to give up the drinking, which is too bad because, I'm a sensualist. You know how I like to have things that taste good in my mouth.
Okay, well, I don't want to go there, but yes, I was gone last time, and of course you weren't there the week before, so I haven't seen you guys in a long time.
Hope you're feeling better now, Max. You're back on the.
My wife and I both had, I guess, bronchitis, and it's something that just lasts and lasts and lasts.
Yeah.
And then I had this weird episode where I think maybe if Dieter had been around, he'd have been able to understand me. but I literally I was talking not just figurative gibberish like usual, but literal gibberish, and the doctors have got me straightened out as much as they ever will be. So I'm here. I've got 4 movies to discuss with you guys.
Well, you look good though. You look healthy. You look youthful.
I feel really, really good today. I started the new book.
Yeah, tell us, by the way, about what you now have been contracted to write. Can you talk about that?
I can. There's one that the contract is still pending, which I'll announce here in a week or so, I hope. But it actually isn't signed, but they've offered the deal.
Well, first of all, Max, we should tell everybody that Max's latest book, The Return of the Maltese Falcon, is currently available. You can get it in hardcover, or you can get it in softcover, or you can get it downloadable from Hardcase Crime. So you should get it now.
Well, that leads me to saying and announcing, I was going to save this for when you came to the Quad Cities, Rob, when we have our big event in late May.
Yep.
but I just can't. I got to tell people that I have signed to do 2 more Sam Spade books. And what I pitched was a trilogy, the first book being the one you held up. And I'm going to do Sam Spade 10 years later, right before the war starts, and then 10 years after that, in the McCarthy era, basically, which is very significant in Dashiell Hammett, the author's life. So it's going to follow Sam Spade into areas that haven't ever been pursued before. And I started it a couple days ago and was really, really struggling with it. And you know me, Rob, I don't struggle too much with writing, but I was struggling with it. And of course, I was coming out of being sick, which is not wonderful. And last night I knocked it. I've got 2 chapters I really like. I replotted the book. We're ready to rock and roll now. So,
Well, that's good.
Had several really nice letters about Return of the Maltese Falcon lately from people that had never read me before. And that was one of the reasons I wanted to do the book, because I thought, well, maybe this will attract some people to my work who haven't tried me before. So, and I appreciate.
I've been saying that my entire life.
Well, listen, no flying shit. I really appreciate the publicity you've given me here, because I know that I've increased my readership thanks to the show you guys do, and I love being part of it. And thank you for making me part of it. So
Well, it's a great honor to have you here, Max.
I'm a little sentimental, having been very fucked up in an emergency room not too long ago. You know? But I'm good now.
I've been half of that recently.
Pardon me?
I've been half of that recently.
Well,
I wasn't in the emergency room.
Well, you know, I haven't been able to go out to very many movies, and it's fun to hear you talk about the things you've seen. The idea that you can go out and see 5 movies, it's not quite that way in the Midwest.
Well, I got to give it up for Regal. You know, you pay $80 for 3 months, and you can see as many movies as you want.
Ooh, I mean, I have had the fun of taking my 10-year-old grandson to see some of these movies now, and to be able to go with him to movies and introduce another generation to the experience, that's not to be underestimated. I want to talk about I really have a bunch of basically film noir to talk about this. You know, we went in the film noir door with this segment, but sometimes there's not any film noir to talk about. So I kind of talk about, I guess, film noir adjacent stuff. But I think my picture is going a little bad here. Can you guys hear me and see me?
Yeah, we can see you.
Yeah.
But you're going to talk about the big combo.
The director, Joseph H. Lewis, is the director of Gun Crazy, and I consider to be the major film noir director. Listen to some of the movies he directed. My Name is Julia Ross, So Dark the Night, Undercover Man, and of course, Crazy. This guy was fantastic. He went on to do a bunch of TV. The funny thing about his career is when he did My Name is Julia Ross and So Dark the Night, these were really sleepers because they were really low budget movies that he knocked the ball out of the park on, noirs. And they gave him a shot at doing a bunch of big movies. He didn't do too well. He didn't, when you took him away from the genre stuff, he didn't flourish. And then he came back, and then right after he had these sort of unsuccessful movies at Universal, he came back and did Gun Crazy. And then a few years later, he did The Big Combo. Now, The Big Combo, it's almost the ultimate film noir. Because
Max, who put this out?
Oh, this was Ignite, and it's a lovely package. Now, they have several alternate versions of this. There's a steel book. I got kind of the bare bones one, but the bare bones one has the beautiful slip cover. Has the slip cover is also the alternate cover, and the interior cover is has the famous shot of the man and woman highlighted against the light. and it has a nice booklet. It's not huge. Has some cards in there, some sort of lobby card type. It's great. It's a great package. I didn't spring for the bigger stuff because I'm about the movie, and this is a very handsome set. If you know, if you're a genre person and noir has not really been your deal, you should. This is a good one to own, a good one to try. The cast is just fucking phenomenal. Cornel Wilde is the lead, and he's one of the producers, although he's not listed. His wife Jean Wallace, who is very beautiful, not an incredible actress, but perfect in this movie. And listen to the rest of this cast: Richard Conte, you know, who we know from The Godfather, among much else. Brian Donlevy,
Quatermass himself.
Lee Van Cleef and Earl Holliman
Wow.
playing gay hitmen.
Wow.
And it's pretty obvious. And this is like
incredible.
This is a 1955 movie, and the fact that Holliman is in love with, I mean, they sleep in the same room. Let's put it that way. And they make no bones. The movie makes no bones about it. I actually used the two characters, the Van Cleef and Holliman characters, in a book of mine called Hard Cash, which was one of the Nolan books. And Nolan is physically Lee Van Cleef anyway. So I love the idea that I had Lee Van Cleef playing two roles in one of my books. And also Ted DeCorsia, who's another major guy in noir, and Jay Adler. Now, the other one is Helen Walker. Now, Helen Walker is in one of my favorite movies, which is Murder, She Says, with Fred McMurray, which is maybe the best noir comedy. Very funny movie, incredibly funny movie, and dark. She's a heroine in that. She kind of supposedly plays kind of a Bonnie Parker. She also is one of the love interests in the original Nightmare Alley. Now, I don't know how you get better film noir, specs than being in the original Nightmare opposite, Tyrone Power. I much prefer it too, and I don't dislike the newer version by what's his name,
Guillermo del Toro.
Nightmare Alley.
Guillermo del Toro. Yeah.
And I like that movie all right, but the original is incredible, and she's incredible in it, and she's incredible in this. In fact, the whole plot revolves around her character, and she's wonderful in it. And she had a rather tragic life herself. I think she was an alcoholic. But then the cinematographer is John Alton, who is generally considered to be the premier film noir cinematographer. And the budget is low, so they are minimizing sets. They're being very, very imaginative and totally creating settings with light and shadow. And then the score is fabulous. It's by David Raskin, who only did the score for Laura, the auto premature noir Laura, and did lots of major TV. He did lots of major TV themes. So this thing it's all here. And thematically, you've got a cop who's obsessed with taking down the mob boss, and he's also in love with the mob boss's mistress and wants to free her from the sinful world she lives in. And it's sort of the Untouchables, and it's definitely got all these noir themes. It's one-stop shopping, and I don't think Ignite could have done a better job. If there's ever a noir to see in 4K, this is it. So, is there anything else I haven't mentioned? Oh, the other thing, it says Philip Yardan is the screenwriter. You know about this guy?
I've heard of him. I might have heard of him, Max.
Well, his name is on all kinds of shit.
Oh, I know.
I mean, he did. His name is on The Chase. These are film noir. The Chase, Panic in the Streets. That's Elia Kazan. Johnny Guitar. You know, Western noir starring Joan Crawford. The Harder They Fall, Bogart's last movie. The boxing movie from the Bud Schulberg novel, and a lot else. Detective Story, Broken Lance. But he was a front. He was a front in the during the McCarthy era. So you never know whether he really wrote it or not. In fact, did he write anything? we don't really know. But he certainly was attached to a lot of great movies, and it's suspected that a writer named Ben Maddow may have actually written it. But I think there's a possibility Jordan was actually pretty good himself. The dialogue's very snappy. So, I mean, this is my absolute highest recommendation.
Big combo.
And now here's a surprise for me.
Hang on, I just want to make sure that was the big combo, everyone.
Big combo.
That's what Max was talking about.
It's not about a rock and roll band. It's the big combo. It's the big combination. It's the syndicate.
Yeah.
The obsessive detective who's going to take the syndicate down. And there's one. This is the last thing I'll talk about. This is a bit of a spoiler, but I think I have a right to talk about this. Brian Donlevy is the second in command to Richard Conte, who's the mob boss. But he used to be number one. So he's jealous and he's trying to get back in the number one position. And Donlevy wears a hearing aid. And the hearing aid is used throughout the movie as basically a torture device. At one point, Cornell Wilde, the detective, is tortured with music played loud over the hearing aid that Conte has taken out of Donlevy's pocket. And then finally, when Conte has Donlevy under the gun, where he's going to get executed, Conte goes up to him and says, "You don't have to hear the gunfire." Takes the hearing aid out, and we see Donlevy and we see and hear nothing. Total silence.
That's rad.
Now you know where else that was done?
Tell us, Max.
Road to Perdition.
I know your movie. Where is that 4K? And why is there no Road to Perdition 4K in the world? Why?
And it should be from Criterion.
Yes.
And Criterion, I'm here to tell you, I'll do a commentary for you. I might not even charge you for it. I just want my disc. Guys, don't you know what it's like to watch your disc?
Criterion has been sitting on the right stuff for 5 years. One of my top 10 favorite movies of all time.
That's not all they've been sitting on.
But you know what? Hope springs eternal. And kids, if you continue to watch this show and you love the right stuff, because we have the right stuff, maybe, just maybe, your dreams will come true in 2026.
Well, the only thing that kind of rivals when you get to see one of your favorite movies come out and done beautifully.
When you get to see one of your favorite women naked?
Yes, well, that's also good too. But I never had heard of this movie, Strong Arm. It's a British noir. It really doesn't have anybody you've heard of.
Strong Room, Max.
Strong Room. Did I say Strong Arm?
Yeah.
Strong Room, which is kind of a strange title, but what the Strong Room is in a bank when the vault is shut and you cannot get in there. And what happens, the premise of this movie is these kind of screw up gangsters, robbers, try to have this bank robbery, and they put two of the people, the president and the secretary, in the vault and shut him in there, and then realize after the fact that there's no air in there for them, and they're going to have a murder rap on them if they can't get back into the bank after they've committed the robbery and left.
That's a great premise.
They have to get back in and have to break into it and it is one of the best ticking clock movies, because you're in the vault with the man, with the bank president and the woman. It's just absolutely excruciating. It's beautifully done. It's beautifully acted, and the ending will kick you in the ass. I mean, it is one of the best noir. It's one of the best British noirs I've ever
And you'd
seen.
never seen it before?
I'd never seen it. The only reason it came to my attention was the BFI put it out, British Film
Right.
Institute, and they're making a fuss out of it. And you look at it and you say, well, I've not heard of the director. I only know one of the stars, and like this Darren Nesbitt is someone I've seen a lot, who's like in third or fourth position in movies a lot of times. And I didn't know the writer. I mean, but what the hell? If the British Film Institute says this is a worthwhile noir, I'll give it a try.
Totally.
It's fabulous, and it has a really nice booklet. I couldn't recommend it more highly. Now, those are two great film noir. Now this one is a good one, okay, but it's satisfying because Hammer did all of these noirs. The funny thing about Hammer is there's this period when Republic and kind of Monogram was turning into Allied Artists, they were stopping making their B movies. It was kind of running out of steam, the Falcon movies,
Yeah.
and that kind of stuff. And right around the same time, Hammer decides to kind of fill that market in America, and they can go worldwide. So they started hiring, kind of secondary actors from America who could headline the films. And in this particular one, and we talked about one a couple of weeks ago that starred Paul Honreid, and he did two movies for Hammer, and this one is called Man Trap. And you know what that is on the cover, guys? You recognize her? That is Miss Moneypenny.
No, no.
Yep. That's Lois Maxwell, and also in the movie is Kay Kendall, who was a great British, beautiful woman who was a comedian, and a guy named Hugh Sinclair is in it too, who had played the Saint a couple of times, and once again Terence Fisher is the director, and the character that Paul Honreid plays is the hero of a book series, and so it's kind of like almost like a private eye movie in that sense, and so it's not exactly a hardcore noir movie, but it's very competent. In fact, it's better than competent. It's good, and this is one of those cases where the Hammer has these boxes that Hammer does are fabulous. This is look at the book. I mean, the book is
Ooh, that's it. Nice.
it's a book.
Oh, the Hammer releases are incredible. I mean, we're going to talk about one of them in the news section, but the Quatermass boxes are just unbelievable. Yeah. I mean,
I love them.
Yeah, these should be put in the Library of Congress. They're so extensive and so amazing.
Yeah, and I have to say, and I don't mean to badmouth anything terribly bad, but I picked up one of the Studio Canal boxes, and I just kind of blindly picked it up because it was a Hammer horror movie I hadn't seen, and it was just, I'm sorry, but it just wasn't a very good movie. I probably shouldn't mention what it is. It wasn't one of the Frankenstein.
You should mention what it is. I mean, we're honest here.
Yeah.
Now I have to remember what. Sounds great. You can understand why somebody like me, an idiot like me, would just say, "Oh, that must be good." Blood from the Mummy's Tomb.
Yeah, it's not a good movie.
The only thing worth seeing in this movie is the lead actress's neckline, and it will hold you. It will hold your attention if you're a certain kind of individual, and I know you two are. But
what are you saying about us, Max? What is it about us? Are you trying to say that
Vampire Club?
we're all in the same club, and we know we are.
It's true.
Yes, but I got that, and so I sprung for one of these box sets, and it has a book, and it's okay. But the lesson is, don't buy these box sets blindly if you're not familiar with the movie. Now, you don't have to love the movie, but you better like it. And if you don't like it and you buy the box, you're an idiot. You're just an idiot.
Or
But
you're
Throne Room
wait,
was
wait.
a blind purchase for you too, Max, and it paid off. You
Yeah,
know?
Max.
Never know.
What if you're a Hammer completist?
Well, and that's true, and I am, but I have all the Hammer stuff that's been released, but I don't have all the boxes. But I'm going to get the boxes on the horror stuff.
Well, yeah. Well, and I'll just, it's a preview for the news. X the Unknown has been announced.
Oh,
And
I'll
I'm
be getting that. I love that movie.
I love X the Unknown. Yeah, and I'm like, bruh. Yeah, totally.
But I haven't. I would say this about the noir boxes: if you're a noir fan and a Hammer fan, you have to have them. If you're a noir fan, maybe you have to have them. If you're a Hammer fan, maybe you have to have them. So it hits me in a sweet spot. So I don't even care if it's just kind of a mediocre. The Whispering Smith in London, I think that's not a very good movie. I reviewed it here, but it's a great box set, and it's Hammer, and it's
Sure.
subject matter I'm interested in. There's enough going on there that I don't mind spending, because they're not cheap. What do these box sets cost? Like $50?
Yeah, certainly.
They're probably more than that.
Yeah. So anyway, well, now the last thing I wanted to, look at that. That's fabulous. And she's quite beautiful in it. And you wonder kind of why she didn't make it a little bit bigger. Well, it's not a bad gig being Miss Moneypenny.
No.
Not really.
She's gone down in history.
Yeah, she's there. And she's in all the movies with different Bonds, which is kind of fun. She gets to be Miss Moneypenny to everybody. What did she go through? Dalton, I think.
No, she wasn't in Dalton.
So I'm just not remembering.
So she got Lazenby, she got Connery, and she got Roger Moore.
And more. But that's a lot of movies.
Well, if you think about it, you go from 1962 to 1985.
Yeah. Well, then last night my wife and I were watching Aquino, which you probably have, that you probably got free. The Amorous Adventures.
Just mention it.
The Amorous Adventures of Moll Flanders.
Yeah.
Which is Kim Novak, who I absolutely adore Kim Novak. And it's a huge, in terms of cast, all these people in Great Britain are from. So you see Carry On people, you see, Leo McKern and Richard
From
Johnson.
The Prisoner.
And Richard Johnson should have been James after Connery, in my opinion. And all of a sudden you're watching this, and this sort of landlord of a kind of a tavern comes in, and it's what's his name, who played M.
Bernard Lee.
Yeah, it's just to see these actors from that you're so associate with one of these recurring roles, and he walks in and he doesn't make a real convincing inn owner, Anyway, but that's fun, isn't it? To spot these people.
Totally.
Now, the other thing I wanted to mention to you guys today, because this is a little bit out of let me just get my notes on this. There's a show that you're probably familiar with, and you may not ever have watched, called Midsummer Murders. This is, of all the crime shows, mystery shows in Great Britain, this is the one that's run the longest. And I love these kind of shows. I've loved everything, Foyle's War. There's all the Sherlock Holmes stuff, and many, many others. But this one's run a long, long time. And it has an interesting history, because when it began, it was based on a series of novels by Carolyn Graham, and they adapted the novels. But there were only 7 novels, and they ran out of novels at that point. And there's a couple hundred episodes of this show now.
Yeah, it's run 25 series.
Yes. and they're not like little short series usually. Usually they're at least half a dozen. And I think it's notable that Anthony Horowitz, who was the Foils war guy and has done all kinds of stuff. It's now a big time mystery writer. I kind of hate him. He created the show from the books, and he wrote the first, I don't know, like 22 or something. He wrote a whole bunch of them, and then various other writers obviously have come in since. But he was a guy who really got it off to a good start. So if you wanted to sample the series, my two suggestions are this: either go to the very beginning, watch the first series or two, and that's John Nettles played Inspector Barnaby, and then the current one, which is this has 4 episodes, and they're 90 minutes. All the episodes are 90 minutes. They're movies. So this set is 4 movies, and they're every single one in this season. Some of them they've been dogs. Okay, they've been dogs at times, but this is solid. This passed muster with my wife. Okay, because she's a better mystery plotter than I am, and she just can take these things apart, like it's a Swiss watch she put together. Now, why should we care about this? Well, the murders. First of all, it's a country village kind of British mystery, but it's done in the context of a police procedural. So there's a lot of police procedure in it, a lot of crime scenes that you see what's going on. A lot of great British actors wander in and out of these episodes, and they pride themselves on the murders being grisly and weird and gory.
That's right up my alley, bro.
Yeah, and that's why I'm thinking I think I know a couple of guys that might enjoy these, and it becomes a game of like, what are they going to do this time? How are they going to? And so, like when I hear you guys talking about were the kills good in a slasher movie or something, this show is about a third of what the show is about is the kills. So
Okay.
if you like, particularly if you like a mystery, and these are very traditional mysteries, whodunits,
Okay.
and they're tricky, so I would recommend that. So anyway, that's what I have one other thing. I had something Rob.
Oh, dude, what is that?
That, my friend, is the 4 CD set of a little something I like to call true noir.
Wow, I don't even have that.
I think I heard about that somewhere.
And
Wow.
it's a straight CDs. It's not MPEG or anything. And it's Michael Rosenbaum on the cover. He plays Detective.
Wait,
Nathan
hold that
Heller.
up again. Hold that up again. Wow, what's the spine look like?
Well,
The other spine.
the other spine.
Wow, look at that.
Well, you'll love this because it has the True Noir logo at the top. Then it says the assassination of Anton Cermak,
Yeah,
which is like the only line I didn't write in this show.
I did. I wrote that.
And it says it's from Max Allan Collins. It turns out he's the author of Road to Perdition. It's a 10-chapter, fully immersive audio drama directed by Robert Meyer Burnett.
Really?
Yes, it is.
That's
Never
amazing.
thought of that. God bless you, Rob. You didn't.
Wow, look, man. I to be honest, perhaps I think the most satisfying thing I've done in my entire career was direct True Noir. Why? Because I had the greatest source material.
Well, thank you. And
Yours. I mean, you entrusted me, a little mutual flagellation here. What? Not flagellation, but fellatio. I wasn't gonna say whatever. But I would say it's fantastic because to have the privilege of having you adapt your own work, of your signature character of 19 novels and 2 novellas, and One more to come, and maybe there's more news in the future about it. We have a conference call next week. I don't think I've told you about.
No.
Yeah.
Well, I have to say I'm very proud of this, but my proudest achievement was my honeymoon with Barbara Collins.
Well, I would say it's to turn Maverick off.
Maverick was probably done.
It was,
You know.
that was the show she wanted me to turn off that night was Mission Impossible.
Which I would say scoring a babe like your wife, that was your Mission Impossible, and you succeeded.
That's right. Just find a beautiful woman in an unhappy home. That's all you got to do.
Well, really?
Yep. Back in the
that
day,
the
you
secret?
didn't have the chance to record the stuff, and watch it later. Back in the day, it was not possible.
See, all the
You
women
watch
I've
it
been
when
in love
when
with
it
came
aired.
from happy homes. That's been my problem, I guess.
So you're asking me for a recording of my honeymoon, Dieter?
No, Dieter, no.
The show, recording shows,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know.
I was going right to the main course.
There were
you
no
know.
VCRs
Yeah.
back then.
Correct.
There were VCRs back then. I'll have you know. There were Betamax.
Not when you got married.
Well, you're right. You're right. It was
I
about
know I'm right.
70, wasn't it? 70, 72?
I know what's up, dude.
What
Come
was
on.
the first year? What was the first year of VCR?
For consumer models, 76, 77, you could go back that far. There were 3/4 inch decks you could get, but you didn't do that.
Well, I was teaching in a community college, and we had one of those kind of machines.
Yeah.
I would record like a movie I wanted to see and show it to my class. A man's got to do what a man's got to do.
I you know what? It's like what Raul Julius said in Tequila Sunrise. You can't blame a man for what direction his dick points in. That's like blaming a compass for pointing north.
That's if I'm not mistaken, that's Robert Town.
It is Robert Town, the man who wrote Chinatown, your favorite movie.
Yep. So I don't have any news to report because I was not at the Sea Wing while I was ill, but it is still standing.
Yes,
Great to know.
yes, and I've seen some
I'll
police
report
reports that
next week.
perplex me, but it's okay. All we care about is that you are still standing.
So
Yeah.
So was that English today?
That was English.
Yeah.
We heard it all.
Good, because that's
Great
what I keep
show.
saying to my wife. I keep saying, "Is this English? Am I?"
But
Nope.
perhaps the gibberish had to play backwards, Max. Perhaps there was some devilish
that's-
incarnations that you spoke.
Well, the peculiar thing about that experience was I was thinking rationally. It was English in my brain, but was not coming out English.
Now,
this
Max,
is-
before I let you go, we have a letter that was written to you.
okay.
And at first, it seems like it's been written to us both, but I need to give a little bit of a preamble before I read this letter. So, people might be surprised to know that I collect Star Trek novels.
Oh, really?
And licensed fiction, Star Trek novels, a lot of writers got their start writing Star Trek novels because they really loved Star Trek. Beginning after Star Trek the Motion Picture came out, Pocket Books got the license to publish Star Trek novels. And at first, you had, there were only novels about the original series because that's all that existed. And you did have famous science fiction writers like Vonda McIntyre. You had Greg Bear. Real science fiction novelists were writing Star Trek novels. Well, it became a cottage industry unto itself. It became very successful. When Star Trek Picard launched, the Kurtzman era of Star Trek, they had been working on a post-Voyager, post-Dominion War continuity in the Star Trek publishing field that lasted over 20 years. And while it wasn't considered, you could call it, was it canonical or not? In my mind, in my head canon, it kind of was, because you had all of these great writers writing this ongoing 20-year Star Trek continuity that was longer than any other ongoing Star Trek continuity. Even in the Berman era of Star Trek only lasted 18 years and 25 seasons. But this novelized continuity went 20 years. Well, when Star Trek Picard came out, look, Discovery, Strange New Worlds, all of that violates continuity. None of that is, and when people tell me, it's Rob, it's whatever the creators say. No. Those shows contradict the original series. They're not canonical. Whatever. But the literary world, the litverse, the Star Trek litverse is what they called it, was rendered null and void by Kurtzman's Picard series. Now, that's fine. I mean, I'm not going to complain about that, even though I love season 3, but the first 2 seasons were shitty. What happened was 20 years of my life that I was reading these Star Trek novels had to end. And luckily that these authors, like people like David Mack, came along and they were able to write Star Trek Coda. And they were able to put a period on the end of the Star Trek litverse. Luckily, they were able to do that. That also ended my interest in Star Trek novels. I'd been collecting Star Trek novels since I was literally 5 years old. And when the litverse ended, I was like, fuck these people. Fuck Paramount, fuck them and some of my favorite writers have gone on to write books like Greg Cox or David Mack, and I've picked them up. But my enthusiasm waned because they killed this thing that was being built up by great writers for 2 decades. Anyway, that is leading into this letter. This letter comes from Ruben Hilbers, and it says, "Hello, Max, and Rob, and Dieter. I have some questions about the Star Trek novel universe, and I was hoping you could help with. Back in 2021, thanks to Kurtzman and his hackery, they had to reboot the novel universe. If Secret Hideout's contract lapses, could they cut him off from further royalties by rebooting it again? How does this work with elements that he plucked from the novels, like the Bricker species taken from Peter David's Star Trek New Frontier and the AI program of control originally from a DS9 novel by David Mack? Could Pocket Books use the fact that Secret Hideout is a separate company against them once the contract lapses? I figured that since you used to write the CSI novels, Max, you might know more about how exactly the relationship between novels and television works." Now, let me just add in, the writers of modern Star Trek, Discovery, and Strange New Worlds poached ideas and characters, like Una's backstory was stolen from Dorothy Fontana's novel Vulcan's Glory from '89, and they completely ripped off Ursula K. Le Guin's short story Those Who Walk Away from Umalas. So Ruben is asking Max, if they stole stuff from literary works that were not, those authors did not know that their work was going to be later poached by producers of a TV show. How does that work?
Well, first I have to say that there may be different contractual elements here that I don't know about. But generally speaking, writing a movie tie-in novel or a TV tie-in novel is work for hire. The studio, two things, and one is beneficial and one is terribly not beneficial. The studio owns what you wrote. That's why they can poach, quote unquote, anything they want. I had 3 or 4 elements from the books that Matthew Clemens and I wrote, the CSI books, that were used on the show. I got no credit. Nobody said a word to me about it. They owned it. I wrote it, but it was work for hire. They owned it. So that's not wonderful, but I was making a living, right? Because I don't do this, for my health. But the royalties are set up through the publisher. So doesn't matter what fun and games go on rebooting and what, any sales you have, you get royalties of. It's irrelevant what's going on in the world of Star Trek or CSI or whatever. So that's a little, maybe that's overly simplistic, and it could be different on the elements of the contract. If you were some big time science fiction author and you put something in the contract that you wanted to retain certain rights, they probably wouldn't have done it. Because, when you're doing tie-in work, it's hard for me to imagine a way that an author could have less rights. It's just work for hire. You're making a chair. They get to sit in it any way they want to, anywhere they want to. They can even repaint the goddamn thing.
But let me ask you this. So you create a totally new element. In your work for hire agreement, if you were to create a character in a TV show that later gets picked up by the TV show and gets added to their cast or whatever, you do have rights under the WGA rules. There are specific rights about how the character is used, how much the character is used. And in the case of, for instance, Una's character, Rebecca Romaine's character, they literally stole her backstory from Dorothy Fontana's novel. And she's going to go on to do 5 years of a show. So, because the Writers Guild, you have Writers Guild members who've stolen from a novelist and incorporated her backstory that the novelist created into 5 years of a series. Now, they might own it, but the WGA can't condone the theft of a backstory from one. Dorothy Fontana was also a WGA writer. And even though she wrote a novel about a character on a show she worked on, it's kind of a weird thing. I mean, I don't know if any of it's actionable, but I would say that all the writers of modern Star Trek are fucking awful hacks anyway, so it's not surprising they stole shit from other WGA writers.
Well, is any of the poached or stolen stuff that has been called to the WGA's attention, has anything happened?
No,
Because
I don't think it's ever been called to the WGA's attention.
I could be wrong, and I don't know what the individual.
And Dorothy Fontana's dead. The writers of Star Trek stole from 2 female writers who passed away. Okay. So, in our Me Too, how about that? How about let's steal from women writers that are dead because we can get away with it?
Well, let me ask you a question.
They were creatively Me Too'd by the writers of Star Trek.
Let's say I wrote a Star Trek episode and created a character. And in the next season, they did a sequel to that.
The WGA protects you. You've created a character, and there are rules about that, depending on how the character is used and how much time and things.
And I should say that all of the things that were used of and Matt's were plot and crime ideas.
Right.
They weren't characters.
Right.
I used their characters. And I think there was somewhere in the back of my mind that I didn't want to give them anything but their stuff, because who knows? I would hated to have created something and then done something with it, and they come after me and say, well, that's too much like the character you wrote for us, So
right.
So there are pitfalls here. So the hackery that went on with Star Trek for the last 9 years is just stuck in my craw. No, I don't blame you. I'm too. So, well, gentlemen, is there anything else you need? Yes.
It reminds me, Max, of the story that you told from your agent. Oh, Max, you don't need to write a tie-in for Daylight, but they will never ask you again.
That's right. That's exactly right. And I mean, I was at that point one of the probably the most non-science fiction successful movie tie-in person. Used to be a lot of movie tie-ins that weren't science fiction. Now really all that's left pretty much is science fiction. But I went after Star Trek and almost got it, but I did like 3 proposals. The editor was really keen to have me because I was pretty successful at that point in that field. but I couldn't think up a story that somebody hadn't already done because so many stories had been done. And then I went after X-Files real hard. I really wanted to do X-Files and didn't get it, and then got one of the movies. So that was it is fun to get to write about a franchise you really love. It really is.
Yeah.
I had a lot of that in my life with Mike Hammer and Dick Tracy, and so anyway.
Well, there's a few. Let me just do a few super chats while you are here.
Sure.
First of all, 200 Watt Studio asks, did you get your Hard Boiled and Killer Arrow 4Ks? I think we all did. We showed them, yes. So that's good.
I didn't. I didn't double dip.
Yeah, we did.
Understandable.
I'm sorry.
But we had to. It's hard boiled, Max.
I know. Major Chai says, congratulations, Max, on a book deal, but I also send my regrets with the new job. The hubby and I won't be able to make the events at the Putnam Museum.
That's too bad.
Castle Grayskull says, thanks for all your love and support toward my family. I haven't heard anything about this, but Castle Grayskull, I hope everything is well with your family.
The people in the live chat, Rob, give Castle Grayskull support. She has some trouble with the family. So
I didn't know. I was unaware of that. I'll find out, I'm sure, later today.
But we have the people in the live chat helping her out a little bit.
Castle Grayskull sent 5 Burnettwork gift memberships, so thank you for that. Paul Bernardo says, really can't wait to see one of my favorite fantasy movies from 1958 finally coming out on 4K, thanks to Bill Hunt for his Facebook page announcing it. That's coming shortly. We will be talking about that. Tom Jr. Jackson says, Max, I love BritBox and Acorn TV. I have been watching Father Brown. Midsummer Murders is a good show too. Rob, how many omnibuses do you own? Oh my God. I would say I probably have 100 omnibuses between DC and Marvel and other companies, probably more. It's hard to say. There's a lot. So that catches us up, Max, so we can let you go and enjoy the rest of your day.
I have a question for Dieter. The poster you showed of the Asian actress,
Yeah.
that looked like Cynthia Khan to me.
They will always have sometimes different names. This is
that Cynthia Khan?
I don't think so. But I would have to actually check, Max. They're sometimes gotten different names, even in different countries. I don't know if there's anything about it here.
Let me see your face.
What you can do, Max, is go to the
show her face. Show her face. Go
to the IMDb page of her, Max. Perhaps you can find out more on that, because on the IMDb page you sometimes see the different names under which they appeared in movies. So she was in Millionaire Express with Sammo Hung, where she played a Japanese fighter. So you probably have seen her, Max, in one of the Girls with Guns movies. I'm pretty sure.
Cynthia Khan did all the after Michelle Yeoh did the first one, and Cynthia Rothrock, who you may be familiar with, Dieter.
A little bit.
She did the rest of the In the Line of Fire entries.
Yeah.
Cynthia Khan did.
Yeah.
So I like to track that down because I think she's terrific. I think she's just terrific.
The people mostly know her probably or from the cult movie The Story of Ricky, but she actually had to play a dude.
Gentlemen, thank you. What a pleasure to be back with my friends again.
Max, it has been great to have you here. Thank you so much.
A pleasure to be had.
All right.
Ladies
and gentlemen, the great Max Allen Collins, and you can get his latest work, The Return of the Maltese Falcon, available at all outlets. And apparently you can now get True Noir, The Assassination of Anton Cermak on 4 CDs. Something I don't even have. Oh, my God.
What?
Just quick, Max. We have luckily we have the people in the live chat who knows more than we. She did In the Line of Duty 3 and 4, Max.
Okay.
Adventure Square. Help me out there. And Inspector Skirts are great, especially 3 and 4. Okay, but this is the only thing that I came up here. So Line of Duty 3 and 4, she did.
Is this listener identifying the actress as Cynthia Khan?
No, actually not.
I'll do some detective
I
work.
will do a deep search about her, Max, and we'll get
Thank
back
you,
to you.
guys. Thank
All right,
you so
Max,
much.
thanks for being here, buddy. And give our love to your lovely wife.
I already have.
All right. I hope this morning and every night.
And keep
We will
and,
see
and
you.
keep out of the basement.
We will see you next week.
Bye, guys.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Bye.
the great Max Allen Collins. It is great to have him here once again.
And Adventure Square, once again, Max, I know you're still there, says, yes, she is Cynthia Khan. But those actresses sometimes had to do so it was a combination from Cynthia Rothrock and another name, So she is Cynthia Khan. You're right, Max.
Nice.
You're right. Okay.
Well, Dietz, we're caught up with Super Chat. Should we show some more stuff?
I have some stuff from. The only problem I have early shift tomorrow. I would say we do the news, we do a little bit of the live chat, and then we see what time it is. Because I would rather save it than for next week.
Okay, that's fine. Can I show? Well, we'll do the news. I'll do the news. First of all, Paul Bernato's probably talking about this. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, they just announced, hang on, before I jump into the news, let me go to my notes section. So in case I have a question, I will be able to answer. Now this is sort of like interesting because, I mean, this is a cool thing. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Sony has announced the 7th voyage of Sinbad, famously filmed in Dinorama. Now, this is 1958's film, starring Kerwin Matthews, obviously, Catherine Grant, Richard Eyre, and Thorin Thatcher, and Alex Mongo. It's an incredible cinematic adventure as the legendary Sinbad sets off on a dangerous journey to the mysterious island of Colossus. His quest to break the spell cast over his beloved princess by a diabolical magician. But it's got great stuff. You gotta love it, and of course, the visual effects.
Do you know what Dinorama is, Rob?
It's just a gimmick, but it's how they filmed it, and Ray Harryhausen did the work. I love this movie. I love this movie when I was a kid too, and I'm right there with Paul. I can't wait to get this. And they did an original negative restoration, and it is in Dolby Vision and HDR, and it is a 2-disc set. So Dinorama was not like, I don't think it was. It wasn't a real thing as we know it. Sort of. And then we get Gus Van Sant's latest movie, Dead Man's Wire, is finally coming out.
Whoa.
I didn't see this in the theater. I'm looking forward to it. Did you see this in the theater?
No, I have not, Rob, but I'm looking forward to it.
I am
Got good
too.
things about it. Or at least the reviews are good for it.
What's that?
The reviews for the movie are good.
Yeah, they're good. Yeah. And then, of course, the 30th anniversary of Eraser in 4K coming out, which is, hey, that's relatively exciting. Now, Vinegar Syndrome had a huge, huge release.
Yeah.
They had a big notices of their coming May batch of titles. First, we have Lamberto Bava's movie, Mario Bava's son, Macabre. That is his first film. Now, again, is this movie great? It's the first feature film directed entirely by Italian horror legend Lamberto Bava, who did Blade in the Dark and Demons. The giallo-tinged, true crime-inspired Macabro offers a tense and grisly study of budding madness. And so, hey, this is a restoration from the totally uncensored original camera negative. And there's lots of new interviews and other things. Now, this is pretty cool. Night Watch, the Ewan McGregor Night Watch is coming.
A remake.
Yeah, and pretty cool. 2-disc, 4-disc Blu-ray plus a Blu-ray combo release. HDR, Dolby Vision, new restoration. And Ole, how do you pronounce his name? I can't pronounce his name. But
Bonnador,
yeah.
I would say.
And then their big title that they're excited about is Explorers. This is the Joe Dante movie that, of course, stars a very young Ethan Hawke. And there's new documentaries. There's all kinds of things. Ethan Hawke, River Phoenix, Jason Presson, and Robert Picardo, who plays a creature in this. Robert Picardo and Joe Dante had teamed up before. They worked together a lot. They did The Howling together. Let me give you a piece of my mind. So this is a banger release. It is chock-a-block full of incredible special features. So much good stuff going on. If you like the movie, I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of this movie, to be honest. I saw it when it first came out. What do you think, Dieter? Are you a fan of Explorers?
I haven't seen it in a long time, Rob. So
I saw it once in the theater. That's it.
I'm not jumping immediately on it, I have to say.
Yeah, but it's it's got a lot of great stuff. Then there is this Anything That Moves. Nubile orphan Liam Woodland and his lover-cum-partner in crime, Thea Williams, lead a carefree renegade existence as Chicago foot delivery bicyclists whose special services include providing erotic fulfillment to their charming and oddball customers. However, when a bloodthirsty serial killer begins targeting their lusty clientele, Liam and Theo find themselves at the center of a psychopath's deranged plan. This is the second feature film from acclaimed writer-director and underground filmmaking sensation Alex Phillips, who did All Jacked Up and Full of Worms. Anything That Moves is a lusty, bloody, and dreamy modern-day fusion of erotic thriller and murder mystery, all sensually photographed on Super 16. So there you go. Hey, it's coming out, but Vinegar Syndrome's putting it out. And then Cinematograph, their partner label, come back to the five and dime, Jimmy Dean. This is actually quite a lovely movie. I haven't seen this in a long time. It's got a great cast, but pretty interesting. I mean, I don't know if I'm going to get this. I mean, Cher's in this. Sissy Spacek is in this. Sandy Dennis is in this. But it is a lovely film. So, and Robert Altman directed it. So there you go. I don't know. Do you want to get it? I don't know if I will. This was a big thing in the video era, and I saw this movie way too many times. I think it was on Embassy Home Entertainment. So you never know. Then we have The Spy with the Cold Nose. I really like this artwork. Kino Lorber are putting this one out. And a dog with a with a spying device under its skin is sent to the Russian government as a present. And when the Russians send the dog to a veterinarian, British agents are dispatched to retrieve the spying device. Well, there you go. The Spy with a Cold Nose, meaning a dog. Coming out. If you want it, get it. Then we have Bushido. Bushido's coming out through Film Movement. And this is from 2025, a new movie.
Yeah, it's a new one.
Yeah, looking forward to that. Don't know anything about it.
Me neither.
And then, so there you go. And now we have something I bet you'll buy. My Name Ain't Susie. And this is from 1985, starring Patricia Ha, Anthony Wong, Chan Yu, Deanne Ip, Angela Wu Chen, and Betty Tang Pei. In her ambitious follow-up to Maybe It's Love, Angie Chen offers a rebuke to the colonial imagination of films such as The World of Susie Wong. Instead, she brings the Hong Kong of the 50s and 60s to life, on her own terms with the story of Shui Mei, a saltwater girl from the outskirts of the city who finds a way out of poverty in the red light district of Wan Chai, Hong Kong, and over the years she rises through the ranks, discovering a world of equal hardship and sisterly camaraderie. Well, there you go. What about you, Dietz? Are you into that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Certainly.
Well, there you go. Why not?
Looks up my alley. Anthony Wong. Okay.
There you go.
But I never heard of it.
I haven't either, but it sounds good to me. Now we come to a new Hammer release that I can't wait to get. X, The Unknown. I always loved this movie when I was a kid. 2026 marks the 70th anniversary of this suspenseful science fiction horror classic from legendary writer Jimmy Sangster as X, The Unknown makes its worldwide premiere on 4K. Widely regarded as the missing part of the Quatermass franchise, this is the latest film to be restored by the team at Hammer. When a soldier dies from an apparent radiation poisoning, the Atomic Energy Commission sends scientist Dr. Royston, Oscar-winning Dean Yeager, to investigate. Despite extensive testing, no source can be found until a mysterious radioactive mud-like entity resurfaces and begins claiming more victims. What do you do when the killer can't be stopped?
It kills but cannot be killed.
There you go. So that's cool. And then we come to Imprint. They've got the Shaw Brothers, the Shaw Shock Box 1 and 2. So they're doing that, which is fun. Yeah. And that's what they've got coming. I think they're repurposing the Shaw, the fourth box from Arrow?
Yeah. Yeah.
So we got that. And then we've got volume 3 and 4. That was 3. This is 4. Okay. And we've got Eureka coming out from them. So this is their new Asian releases.
The movie is Eureka, but not the label. Okay.
No, the movie is Eureka. This is from 2000. This is interesting. In a rural Japan, the survivors of a tragedy converge and attempt to overcome their damaged selves. All the while, a serial killer is on the loose. Winner of 2 prestigious awards at the 2000 Cannes Film Festival. This is an extraordinary opus from director Shinji Aoyama, described as unique and harrowing. So there you go. That's I'm in. Count me in. And then we have, what do we have? We have Face to Face, which I don't know much about. But a man dies in a skiing accident only for his best friend to marry his wife and inherit his fortune. Supernatural hijinks ensue. Could be good. Then we have Madadayo, which I've actually seen in post-war Tokyo. Beloved writer, professor, retires and is buoyed through hardship by the fierce devotion of his former students. Told in warm, gently comic vignettes, Kurosawa's farewell celebrates aging, friendship, and the sustaining ritual of the teacher and pupils refusing to say goodbye. Madadayo, from the great master, his last movie. Kurosawa's last movie. So that's cool. I mean, wonderful to get that. And then we have The Swordsman box set. And the Swordsman box set's the collection, and these are from 1990. And a kung fu manual known as Sunflower Sacred Scroll is stolen from the Emperor's library. An army detachment is sent to recover it. Meanwhile, a young swordsman and his fellow disciple are accidentally drawn into the chaos. Loosely adapted from the novel The Smiling Proud Wanderer, this film stars Samuel Hui, Cecilia Yip, Jackie Chung, and Sharia Chung. So there you go. And the sequel from 1982. That's exciting. What do we have next? We have Hatchet, the ultimate Hatchet box set. What is not to love? This comes from Umbrella. We go from Imprint to Umbrella. This is Adam Green's magnum opus. You have Hatchet.
which Rob had on the show with Dave.
I had, yes,
interviewing
he's
him.
been on the show. So we get Hatchet, Hatchet 2, and Hatchet 3, and Victor Crowley in both 4K and Blu-ray. This is the ultimate box set for you Adam Green Hatchet fans. What's not to love?
Not to love.
And then we get, of course, Manhunt. And Manhunt, I mean, this is, who doesn't want a box set of Manhunt? Yeah. So this is Manhunt is actually pretty interesting. So, as I get to it, the Manhunt is an outrageously over-the-top. What follows is a legendary chase across the length and breadth of the country, and our character fights, falls in love, flies a plane, escapes an asylum, finds dead bodies, and survives multiple near catches from the relentless police inspector who is hunting him. So there you go. And this will have the international 117-minute cut. So that's cool. We've got that. And then we have Ralph Bakshi teaming up with Death Dealer himself, Frank Frazetta, Fire and Ice, an animated feature film. I like this movie. I watched this a lot. Blue Underground's putting this one out. This is from 1983. So that's pretty cool. What's not to love there?
How can I so go to that cover? Come on.
I know. I mean, yeah, it's very Molly Hatchet. Here's another film, A Man Called Roca, not to be confused with John Roca, the YouTuber. Kino Lorber is putting this out. And of course, it's another French film. So what's not to love? Then we have Hi Mom, coming from Brian De Palma. This is from Radiance, one of Brian De Palma's earliest movies, starring Brian De Palma starring Robert De Niro. So Hi Mom is coming out. That's very cool. And then we have, now this is The School Duel, which is Battle Royale meets many other different kinds of, you can find this trailer on YouTube. It looks like a conservative version of Battle Royale. This comes from Altered Innocence. And this is like a new movie. I
know.
In a near future Florida where gun control has been abolished, the state's ambitious governor introduces a chilling solution to school shootings, a statewide televised fight-to-the-death competition known as the School Duel. Sammy, a troubled 13-year-old, secretly enlists against his mother's wishes, seduced by promises of purpose, patriotism, and notoriety. But as the deadly spectacle unfolds, the dream begins to crumble. The debut feature from director Todd Wiseman Jr., The School Duel, is a provocative dystopian thriller about fear, manipulation, and one of the most brazenly political genre films in recent memory. It's very Battle Royale, whatever. But fun. Good. Then we have the 45th anniversary, oh my God, I'm going to die soon, of The Evil Dead released. I mean, look at this. The Evil Dead 4K. Again, I have a 4K of this already. But hey, if you want this, you can have it.
Forbidden in Germany.
Then we have Amy Poehler's series Difficult People. The entire series is coming out. That's exciting. Yeah. So we've got that. And then we have, I can't wait to get this, Peter Weir's first movie, The Cars That Ate Paris, and his like half-hour short, The Plumber. And if you've never seen The Plumber is great. So very excited to get this. Definitely going to pick this one up. And then we have The Wrong Ones, which Cliff Richard, it's a swinging, fabulous movie about music being put out by Studio Canal. And then Severin coming to us with another crazy box set of Disco Italia. I encourage everybody to go to YouTube and watch the trailer for this. All of the Italian ripoffs of Saturday Night Fever in one big box set. I will definitely buy this. Then we have Sidney Poitier.
Not only did they rip off the whole Mad Max stuff, with the apocalypse, the disco stuff too.
Oh, totally. And then a Sidney Poitier movie I don't know much about, but heck, I'll go see it or get it because it's Sidney Poitier. Then we have I Sell the Dead. I like this movie a lot. Never Trust a Corpse. This film stars one of our hobbits, and so that's pretty cool. Dominic Monaghan.
The tall man. Okay.
And so that's in it. This is a big, full-on. IFC is putting out a full-on special edition of this movie. So that's pretty cool. I like the film. Now, these are two other titles coming at us from Severin. Two nuclear war classics. Threads, the great, most depressing British movie about an attack on England and the horrible aftermath of it. This put the day after to shame, but now it's coming out via Severin in 4K. Yeah. And one of my favorite unsung directors that nobody really knows, Peter Watkins. One of his earliest films, The War Game, coming out in 4K. Can't wait to get this. Culloden, a movie that he also directed, usually comes out on the versions of this. I don't know if it's going to come out on their version of it, but it's pretty exciting. So what's not to love? Although this movie is hard to love because it's about pretty much the end of the world. Then we have Kino Lorber putting out Damon Wayans and Major Payne and The Good Boy.
Good Boy.
And The Good
Which
Boy
is actually
is
called, I believe, Heel in the States.
It is called Heel in the States, and it stars Stephen Graham. And this comes out from Signature Entertainment. So those are all the discs that are coming out. Now let's take a gander at our top 40, actually top 10 lists. And look at what we've got. Godzilla -1. There's a lot of reissues on these lists showing how many people are catching up. So we've got Godzilla -1, Mercy, number 2, which I saw in the theater and did not like very much. I'm sorry. Greenland 2, Migration. Monty Python's Life of Brian. I mean, that's amazing. And then, of course, Blade Runner, the final cut, must be reissued. All the President's Men, another great disc, which I have yet to pick up. Hamnet, Five Nights at Freddy's 2. Ben-Hur, one of the great 4Ks of all time. And, of course, Blade Runner 2049. So that's exciting. That's all HD formats, Blu-ray and 4K. Now here's the 4K list. Godzilla -1, Blade Runner, the final cut, All the President's Men, Monty Python's Life of Brian, Hamnet, Ben-Hur, Blade Runner itself, A Beautiful Mind must be reissued, Blazing Saddles, and Goodfellas. All of those are reissues. And there we are, Dietz. That is all the news that's fit to print. Should I turn it over to you for the live chat?
You can, Rob, and it will not be that long, so you can stay, Rob. You
okay,
can stay.
I'm going to run. I got to run upstairs real quick. I'll be right back.
Okay. So previously on Let's Get Physical Media. Let me just see if I have the starting point lined up correctly here. Yeah. Pete and Card says, is that film to Dietz right, The Survivor? Yes, it was, but I forgot to put it back out again. It was The Survivor. You were right on that front. Matt, 1372, you and Campier had a great coverage of CinemaCon. Yeah, they certainly did. Richard Curtis thinks if Germany made people, they would definitely be as reliable as Dieter. Oh, I don't know about that. I hope so. Peter Bohr, great job with the coverage with Campier, Rob, considering CinemaCon. Gamer for Cocktail says, losing a sentence. Yeah, that can sometimes happen, especially when I have had the monologue to start the show already ready, what I can do to put in a joke, but sometimes then you lose your train of thought and what would you have loved to say it, and then, but that's live. If you're doing it live, that can happen. You can't go back if it's live. Wax Woother, is Project Hail Mary actually turning a profit, though? Yes, at the moment, we are already in the green money zone, considering Project Hail Mary. Channel Surf, our department did the original mix on the Phantom. Really disappointed it didn't do too well in theaters. Yeah, but the box office is a hard business. Sometimes good movies, or which I like, are not doing that well. That happens, and sometimes movies that you think are not so good, raking in the big bucks. Real Thomas Logan, one of the worst steelbooks ever. Nightcrawler, which I showed, more like Fast and the Furious 13, he says. Exactly. Albinal, speaking of diabolical things, Barber's Diabolic is coming in Europe to 4K from Eureka UK and Wicked Vision Germany. Major Chai Chai, I didn't realize Lawrence and Pattinson did a movie together. Yeah, they did. Die my love. And I'm not surprised that you perhaps not heard of it, but they did. Real Thomas Logan, I wish Fincher's The Killer would get a physical media release. Fuck Netflix. Yeah, I would certainly buy David Fincher's The Killer on physical media. Lord Toth, never watched Scrubs. And Star Wars Lego Rob, never watched Scrubs either. That gets the buzzer for you too. Erjo says, I remember liking the janitor character in Scrubs. Yeah, he was one of the favorites for the people, and it was actually, if I remember it correctly, he was not really planned to be a big player in Scrubs, but it turned out people loved him, and they always brought him back. The janitor was always great, and he unfortunately is only in one episode in the new season. Major Chai Chai, the new Scrubs is okay. It's not the same without Bob Kelso character, a bad guy to be foil against the main characters. Yeah, there are certainly some of that old crew missing. Camo for Cocktails, Scrubs used to shoot in an abandoned hospital. They surely don't have that anymore, so would have to recreate everything in studio. Yeah, and I think they did that in Canada this time. Albinal, Sangi Moose, Full River Red came out on Blue in Germany 2 weeks ago. No one noticed but me. Yeah, I didn't actually notice it. I had to look that up. Full River von Sang Imu. Not heard of that. Castle Grayskull, I hope to be on this chat regularly, but please don't hold it against me. If I miss a few shows, thank you. You will be held accountable.
Yes, you will, Castle Grayskull. You're held accountable.
Yeah. Richard Curtis, is it true that James Cameron wrote First Blood Part 2? Yes, it is. You can read it in the opening credits, actually. Major Chai Chai, Robert, please have an unboxing live stream of the Enterprise refit. Just to let you
know. What's okay? Hang on a second.
Okay.
I didn't see this. I unboxed it yesterday.
Oh, too late.
I finally opened it up.
Yeah.
It's a thing of beauty. I know a lot of people have complained about it. I'm like, look, it's a toy, man. It's a mass-produced toy. It's not some high-end. I mean, it's a high-end collectible for sure, but it's made by a toy company. I loved it. It's amazing.
It's amazing. Okay. That's good to know. And Castle Grayskull continues, I'd like a life-size poster of Dave Parker. That's probably not in the treasure hunt that Rob brought back from Seattle. But Major Chai says,
maybe I can do something for her.
Yeah. Major Chai says, you need to buy a free Enterprise. Dave is in the movie. Yeah. And he couldn't save the movie, unfortunately.
Oh, my God.
Das Play-Doh, Dave Parker is larger than life. And 8-Bit Side wants to know, Rob, that's the last one from the live chat, Rob, is there a Revenge of the Jedi poster in there, Rob?
There is not, because the poster collection predates Jedi.
Oh, Jedi.
But didn't everybody
even Walter Whitewalker, even if there were a Return of the Jedi poster in, it would probably already be burned.
No. He asked for there were Revenge of the Jedi posters released before they changed the title. As a matter of fact, you want to hear something interesting about Star Wars and Star Trek? So, Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan was originally called Star Trek II: The Vengeance of Khan. Okay. That's how it was announced. That's how it was shot. And then what happened was the original title of Return of the Jedi was Revenge of the Jedi.
Oh, now I get it. Right.
Lucasfilm asked, I think it was Lucasfilm that asked if Paramount would change the title so they didn't have confusion in the marketplace, which was, I think, silly or whatever. So Star Trek did change its name to Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan, even though I think Vengeance of Khan is a better title. But then cooler heads prevailed and realized that the Jedi can't take revenge. You take revenge, that would lead to the dark side. So they changed that title to Return of the Jedi.
No, I get the live chat. Yeah.
So,
yeah, that would be.
But there were posters. The first posters, the first one sheets for Return of the Jedi were actually Revenge of the Jedi. Those were the advanced posters, and the first place that you could get them was from the Star Wars fan club, from the Bantha Tracks magazine. And I had 2 of those. I had 2, and they were rolled. They were not folded.
Yeah.
So I had 2 rolled Revenge of the Jedi posters, and then I sold them. But I had them for a long, long time. So that's what they were talking about. Were there any Revenge of the Jedi posters? Then they asked to destroy all of them. So there's a lot. I think Revenge of the Jedi is probably the most bootlegged movie poster in the world. Yeah, I would imagine. But, you can see real ones. And, that's the story there. So do you have more to show, or do you have to go?
I would say, Rob, I will show just one movie because I want a little bit to talk about it, because I loved it. I will show one. The rest I will save for next week, because I have a nice box set that I will, like Max, will dive a little bit deeper into. Not long, but deeper. But like I said, I have early shift tomorrow. Next week I have unlimited time, because then I have the change to night shift. But the last movie that I would love to show, Rob, because you and I were big fans of Anders Thomas Jensen's Riders of Justice.
Right.
And he has a new movie out. It's called The Last Viking in the States, or in Germany it's called Therapie für Wikinger.
Wow.
Therapeutic for Vikings. And Rob, while Riders of Justice was I believe my favorite movie of that year, while it's not reaching that high, it comes pretty close again to being that good. So a really awesome movie with Mads Mikkelsen again. So this is actually only the 4K, because the Blu-ray is actually Riders of Justice that they put in, which didn't have Blu-ray. I want to give anything away, considering the movie, Rob, but like Riders with Justice, I had such good laughs, but the movie has to his emotional ending at the end. Just showing this little bit of spoilery. It just opens up where did he was. He has robbed the bank, and Mads Mikkelsen plays his brother, who has hidden the treasure, but he had to go to jail, comes back from the jail, and of course now wants to get back the treasure. And I won't say anything more, Rob. And I think it's playing in the States in theaters, but probably very limited. But here it's already out on 4K. The Last Viking, Therapie für Wikinger here in Germany. Great time again. Great follow-up to Riders of Justice. This was my last one, and I will save the other stuff for next week.
Well, we have another super chat. Alvaro, my good friend Alvaro, has written in and says, "Gentlemen, great show as always. Yesterday, at a used bookstore, I was lucky enough to find a whole stack of IMAX documentaries on DVD in their original shrink wrap. With OLED upscaling, they look pretty decent."
Okay.
I mean, that's a score.
Didn't know that IMAX stuff came out on DVD back in the day.
Schnäppchen. Yeah, I mean that's pretty great. Now I have a few more to show. I mean, should I just wait?
You can roll.
Okay, well,
5 more minutes doesn't hurt. But I just want that box set that I have a little bit deeper into. But I will.
So
next week.
Kino Lorber did send me another Charles Bronson title, 10 to
go
midnight.
Full frame, bro. Go full frame.
Oh yeah, I'll go full frame.
Full frame.
Sorry, I will go full frame.
Charlie
Bronson, 10 to midnight, and then of course they have a different cover. Leave It Up to Kino Lorber. This is from 1983, and it's directed by J. Lee Thompson. What's not to love? So another Bronson movie. Then, of course, Paramount. Look, I'm a huge Neil Gaiman fan. Don't say anything, okay? Stardust came out in 4K. I love this movie. I don't care what anyone says. I think it's great. It's a lovely film. And then I got
But I think, Rob, this was a re-release because the Steelbook came out earlier.
Yes, it did come out earlier, and I never picked it up. I don't think. Maybe I did. Don't know. Then I you know what? I don't love this movie, but I had to get the 4K. I have the Blu-ray. Kurt Russell from Arrow. Paul Anderson.
That was one of the movies that I would have shown too, Rob. Because do you know where's on the movie considering the special features?
No.
He's Holland. It's actually
I didn't know that.
Features.
I haven't looked into that yet.
An audio commentary. He does I think more of a retrospective thing. So I got soldiers too. This looks more like Guile from Street Fighter here.
Yeah, I mean it's got a reversible cover. So, yeah, I mean,
like Europe, we know it's more of a guilty pleasure.
Although it does take place in the same universe as Blade Runner because there's a spinner in the garbage of that planet that Kurt Russell.
I always
banished.
wonder, Rob, what happened to the scenes in the trailer, because in the trailer of Soldiers you see a lot of fighting in space too. I never know.
Yeah, they probably
scenes.
Lost enough money to finish it properly. Now, would I be correct in assuming that you have a box set also from Arrow?
Yeah.
Should we just wait till next week?
Let's do it, Rob. As the finishing touch.
Well, I would assume that you're talking about Inner Space. Yet.
Correct, Rob. Correct.
I mean, that's interesting. So wait, you have the British edition. Maybe it's just the color of our cameras. But
probably our color scheme, Rob. I'm a little bit perhaps warmer.
But yeah, I mean, this is again both Soldier and Inner Space are part of. Again, I love the fact that Arrow started adding O-rings to their flat matte finish boxes. You know, this is a cool movie. I mean, I've only seen this movie. I saw this movie when it first came out. I've never seen it again. You've got a great book.
That's what I'm talking about sturdy box, unlike the cult film for Suspiria, sturdy box.
Yeah, with an O-ring. So this is, of course, back in the 80s when Spielberg was producing movies like Gremlins and Batteries Not Included and crazy stuff. Again, Arrow has done very much right by Warner Brothers with these releases. So Inner Space, a cousin of Fantastic Voyage, the comedic cousin. But I remember liking it. I just feel an obligation.
Like Europe, I haven't seen it in forever.
Yeah,
this
forever.
This is more the original cover artwork, or the poster that I'm more.
That's the British poster. So, but it's great to have this. It's great that, Warner Brothers announced Soylent Green. I'm really hoping that Arrow follows the British release. It is the 50th anniversary of Logan's Run this year. I really want Logan's Run in 4K. We'll see what else they put out. But in terms of that Warner deal, they just keep putting out banger after banger after banger. They're going to release most of Warner Brothers genre content, I think, for the last 50 years. Stuff we haven't got. I mean, I'd like to see us get the Omega Man. Westworld was a great disc. Soylent Green, I'm sure, will be a great disc. But that's it. That's our haul. That's it. We'll let you go because you have I've got to go to actually a meeting. I have to drive out to a meeting at 3:00. So, yeah.
Okay. So we will be back next week, of course, people. And when we are getting close to Rob's birthday, which he luckily doesn't mention like Max every single time, so that you get big presents for it. So, from me, jede Person, die du triffst, hat eine Geschichte zu erzählen, die du noch zu hören hast. Alles, was du tun musst, ist zuhören.
Every person you meet has a story to tell that you have yet to hear. And all you have to do is listen. And with that, I want to thank the great Max Allen Collins. I want to thank Tom Jr. Jackson and the moderating staff. I want to thank everybody who generously supports this channel via super chats, tips, and memberships. And again, we had a great membership call yesterday. And thanks to the people that gave memberships out today. And great to have you here. And we'll be back next week with another wacky installment of Let's Get Physical Media.
Yeah. We have the last super chat that came in, Rob.
Oh, well,
From
there you
200
go.
Studio. He says, any word on 2010?
Yes.
There you go. 200 Watt Studio. Probably.
The word is yes.
Around the corner.
The word is yes.
Yes. That's good to know. That's good to know.
I mean, I would
And
say...
don't forget, Rob, Mortal Kombat is coming out this week.
Mortal Kombat's coming out. I would say that, the anniversary of 2010's in December.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Still time.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, everybody. Well, thanks for being here. I very much appreciate all of you. And we'll see you next week.
See you next.
And you'll see me a
next
lot
weekend.
this week on Robservations.
Okay.
Do you know that somebody, wait, I have to come back on and complain. Somebody called me a part of a Gen X Cope YouTube channel and was saying that because I haven't been on very much in the month of April, that my channel was somehow going away or something. I'm like, give me a break, man. We're getting White Devils out. I'm working on California Skate. I'm going all over hell and high water. There's a lot going on. You have to, sometimes and also if I don't feel it, I've got to have something I want to talk about.
Yeah.
But anyway.
A topic, a nice topic.
Yeah, and hopefully my Dust Bunny 4K disc will show up, wherever that is, and my Moneyball
mine is,
disc.
on the way, Rob. Probably we'll have it for next week.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Anyway, on that note,
I had to get the American version too because it's not getting a release here in 4K, Rob. Just a Blu-ray here.
Terrible.
Yeah. What can you do?
All right. Once again, sayonara. We are out.